streaming. Play it.
Any other major country or a nation in which the wealthiest people are becoming phenomenally richer, while we have over 40 million people living in poverty. The very least that we can say is that nobody in America goes.
The Pied Piper Bernie Sanders for the middle class. What a GOP wants to put our interests last. He's gonna give it to you raw, no hesitation. With the right ideas to lead this great nation. No handouts, no special interest groups. He don't lie to give votes, telling you the truth. And while the media wants to downplay him, he's still gonna fight. Tell him all he ain't playing. Push him for higher wages so we all can feed our families. The only one I know who can conquer this insanity of this Wall Street bickering, belittling the $4 bills. Only thing they considering when people need health care, kids need schools. When it comes to politics, Bernie's breaking rules. No attack against on the competition's needed. He's running on the facts, and it's something that we needed. Feel the burn, make him feel the burn. All the way to the White House, feel the burn. Feel the burn, make him feel the burn. Till the haters on the right, they can feel the burn. Feel the burn, make him feel the burn. All the way to the White House, feel the burn. Feel the burn, make him feel the burn. Till the haters on the left, they can feel the burn. You see him scared shook, he's a democratic socialist. They don't even know what it means, they just roll with it. Get over it, check the resume. Fighting for civil rights ever since the first day. While other candidates still with their hands out. We do it old school, grassroots stand out. Cause this is our time to have a voice to serve. You fat cats had your chance, now it's our turn. They say he can't win, he's too liberal. Way too extreme, too honest and too cynical. They want another robot politician, the same old rhetoric. Now they gon' listen. Feel the burn, make them feel the burn. All the way to the White House, feel the burn. Feel the burn, make them feel the burn. Till the haters on the right, they can feel the burn. Feel the burn, make them feel the burn. All the way to the White House, feel the burn. Feel the burn, make them feel the burn. Till the haters on the left, they can feel the burn.
Millions and millions of working people who are working hard but are not making enough money to put bread on the table or to take care of their kids, and that has got to end.
The time has come when people all over this country create a political movement which says to the billionaire class, you can't have it all.
Make them feel the burn. All the way to the White House, feel the burn. Feel the burn, make them feel the burn. Till the haters on the right, they can feel the burn. Feel the burn, make them feel the burn. All the way to the White House, feel the burn. Feel the burn, make them feel the burn. Till the haters on the left, they can feel the burn.
Tony Tig, feel the burn. Tell the haters on the left, I should feel the burn. Haters on the right. Lots of haters out there. Welcome, everybody. Bernie 2016 TV, a network for the 99. DC with you here, Feel the Burn TV. And we're joining you for an extension of Weekends with Bernie on a Monday fundraising reception in Chicago, and we're hoping to yeah. Oh, hang on, I'm listening to myself again. There we go. All volunteers here, guys. I'm new to this stuff too, but we're getting it together. Our show yesterday was great. We had a great time. Nigel was awesome. Nobody had a feed at yesterday's event from Iowa. And so we weren't alone, but we had a great time. About 250 of you hung out with us, and we talked. We had a guest, John McPhee. Maybe we'll play his video again later. He had joined in the conversation, and we had a lot of great comments. So thanks for sticking with us. We're looking for the feed today too, guys. This is a private fundraiser for Bernie, a fundraising reception in Chicago, and so we're not sure what kind of a feed is going to be coming out of there, but we're going to be looking for it like we always do, and try to find something for you. We don't know if we're going to be able to get periscopes or anything, but we've got some great stuff to show you today, and we're going to be joined by Richard Green is going to be with us today. He gave us a great report from HempFest that he was at, and he was interviewed up there, and maybe we'll play that again today too if we need to fill some time. And I don't know, Richard, if you can hear me, if you want to join in here and just say hello to the Berners.
I'm here. Hello,
What's
fellow
going on?
Berners.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm glad people were able to tune in to us last night, and hopefully able to tune in today. And I'm looking forward to the broadcast.
Great, great. Hey, you were telling me earlier when we were having a little talk about Chicago that Bernie has some connections to Chicago, and we know folks. Some folks are tired about hearing about his record, but I think his record is a big part of who he is. So, what is his connection with Chicago that you know of?
Yeah, this isn't Bernie's first time going to Chicago. He left Brooklyn and got his degree from the University of Chicago. That's also where people have probably seen the picture of him leading or being part of the core group that was protesting against housing segregation and a few other issues. And so Bernie's got some ties that go way back in Chicago, so it'll be nice to see him back in that area.
Yeah, you know, he might bring that up. Yeah, and Ryan, I'm sorry if I misspoke. I meant maybe weekends with Bernie. Maybe that's better than weekend at Bernie's. Yes, because we got some comments going on in the YouTube chat, and we're gonna stay on top of those. And we are obviously looking at the Twitter for Feel the Bern and Bernie 2016. I think we're also watching Fight for Diet, and We Are Diet. And to tell you the truth, I need to get into that and find out exactly what's going on. Richard, do you know anything? Do you know what's going on with Walter H. Diet High School? And there's a hunger strike apparently being planned. Are you aware of it? What's the story?
I'm picking it up as fast as you are.
Well, you know, this is the beauty of social media and getting information out quickly to people, and we're gonna try to, if you know what's going on in that with that hashtag and what issue we need to be aware of here on the channel, let us know. Hey, Cynical Girl, welcome. Welcome, thanks for joining. And yeah, it's you know, we're gonna talk a little bit. We're gonna take a look at some stuff that we've got some new video of Bernie in the mainstream media. He wasn't talked about about Iowa much this morning, certainly not on Morning Joe. They were definitely focusing on Trump and Hillary, and mostly Trump. It's like that's really Trump's new reality show is Morning Joe, because it's all they seem to talk about. And they didn't acknowledge that he had the largest crowd. He shut down the state fair. Nothing could happen when he took to the soapbox, and he was not heckled, which I understand is huge in the soapbox. So far, I've seen some of the other speeches from the soapbox, and everybody's getting heckled except for Bernie. So that's supposed to mean something, and maybe it does. Who knows? So he had 2,000 people, we hear, or so, unless that's been updated. That's the last I heard, was about 2,000 people at that venue yesterday at the university. And today is a private fundraising reception. So if there is a stream, we're going to bring it to you. If not, we're gonna get some reports on the ground. Sabin, he has some interviews that he did. He's in Vermont, I believe, right? Sabin's in Vermont, so he's got some interviews of Berners from there, and maybe we'll look at Richard's report from HempFest again. And what I'd like to maybe start with is the nightly show. Larry Wilmore has been picking up on Bernie last couple of times this week, and I'm not sure which clip we have, but either one is great, and it's Larry is starting to feel the burn, and I'd like to see. Oligarchy's falling again. It's great. It's like on cue. So if we could cue that up, let's take a look at the Larry Wilmore show and see what he was saying about Bernie Sanders.
Welcome back. I'm here at my panel, nightly show contributor Mike Yard. Comedian and host of NPR's Ask Me Another, Ophira Eisenberg. And he currently co-stars in the drama Public Morals, premiering Tuesday, August 25th at 10 p.m. on TNT. Michael Rappaport. All right. So let's jump in. I wanted to talk about Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, this particular phenomena in the Democratic race, because it really is amazing that Sanders, I never would have guessed this, that he'd be beating Hillary in the New Hampshire polls right now. And he's drawing like 28,000 people to his rallies, while Hillary has like 5,000 to like 6,000. So what's going on? Why do you think there's so much passion for Bernie and like none for Hillary right now?
I think it's like a Grateful Dead concert. It's like a hip, cool thing to do, and you know people are doing it. I don't know if that means.
Are you talking about the Sanders or the Hillary?
I'm talking about the Sanders. No, Hillary needs to hip things up, but Bernie, it's like going to a Grateful Dead concert. It's like the hipster young people and the old hippies. They're all smoking weed and exchanging drugs. That's true. And you know.
The Bernie Sanders rallies are older young people exchanging drugs.
I know this. Trust me. I know this. I'm in between, so I'm hearing it from both sides.
But he is like, he plays right into the hipster culture, right? Like he is the artisanal, small batch, community garden.
Right.
You know, he's like, hey kids, you want to get together and build a bridge? They're like, yeah, we do.
Right. That's hilarious. But it also seems to me that they're going for Bernie with the same kind of enthusiasm that young people were going for Obama in 2008. Like, I would be worried if I was in the Hillary camp.
She's going to turn it up, and then Ill Bill's going to come in. He's going to come out with the blue-eyed swagger, and everything's going to come. He'll be all right.
Hold on, everybody. I'm here.
Yo, I met Bill Clinton once, and I'm telling you, the charm is real. Yo, he had me at hello, for real. Yo,
did he try to?
No. But he just, you could see, like, yo, this guy was.
Hey, Micah, how's it going?
No, it was good. It was good. But he never left the eye contact. But it was because the blue eyes, like, they're soft.
But can Hillary? Okay.
They're not piercing. No, they're not piercing blue eyes.
I understand. This is a different show.
No. I'm just saying, like, he's got soft, comforting blue eyes. And if he could do it to me.
I get that. Here's the key vote, though. Bernie Sanders just picked up an endorsement from a rapper named Lil B. Do you know Lil B? You know all the rappers, right?
Yeah, I know him.
Okay, he was a huge Hillary supporter. I love it. And so now Hillary's losing the rapper vote. It's unbelievable to me.
That's right.
She's down a rapper.
Listen, you got to use that word air quotes. You know, not everybody is a rapper just because says they're rappers. But the Little B thing, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You have a beef with Lil B?
No, I don't have a beef with Little B, but just because it rhymes.
Nice.
Well, I'll back him up. I've never heard a Lil B song.
Okay.
Right. Just because it rhymes doesn't mean it's rap.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Do you think young people really care about Hillary Clinton? Like to me, it feels like I don't even know if the fact that she was the first lady and Secretary of State, or I don't even know how much that means anymore. Like,
no, I feel like she would have to get them to like vote for her by swiping right or something like that. You know, like I feel like she's disconnected to them.
Why is she disconnected?
Because she doesn't, because she's not authentic. She seems like kind of stern, like that aunt that comes over that's weird at your dinner, you know, that has like some weird chocolate in her bag, and she's like, "You'll like me if you eat this," and I was like, Yeah, and then you meet Bernie Sanders. You're like, hey, this guy's got a VW Bug and he's doing pottery.
It's back. Let's promise him drugs and free love.
Right.
We're back to the
so my analogy is that Hillary comes off like the principal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, so you see the principal in the, you know, she cares about you, but you're kind of nervous when she comes around. You see the principal in the hallway, you're like, oh, Principal Clinton, let's get the out of here. Right. And Bernie is like that cool ass teacher. You see him in the hallway, you're like, what up, Mr. Sanders? You know what I'm saying? And he's like, what up? And you're like, I dig that James Brown album you recommended. You know what I mean?
And then you're like, Mr. Sanders, what do you have for homework tonight? He said, you know what? Free tuition for everybody.
There you go. There you go. She comes off like a politician, and young folks, I think, don't like politicians. That's why they don't vote in every year. They vote for president. You know what I mean? I think young folks want you to be authentic, and Bernie comes off as authentic.
Young people don't like politicians. They may get what they want this year.
Yeah, right?
I don't know if, okay, something's back. It's back.
Back to you, Dave.
Okay, so I don't know if it's back or not. Is it back, guys?
Dave, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, everybody. The deal is that we're using the nightly show clip, and we were blocked from using this clip. This is John in the producer's room, by the way. We were blocked from using this clip.
Everybody. Give it up for John. Go
Hi,
ahead,
everybody. So this happens to us all the time. We use media clips from the major networks, and they block the stuff with copyright, which is fine. And then I file a dispute, and generally they release it. So Viacom actually released this clip for us, but apparently they are catching this in live broadcast and not just on our canned media.
They have a bot. They have a bot actually that I think looks for stuff, and then it automatically shuts it down if they catch it.
Yes.
My understanding.
Yeah. So that's where we're at, guys. I hope everybody could hear that. Yeah. All right. So take it from there, Dave.
We haven't lost any viewers, but I think we got what we were. I think we got quite a bit about what Mr. Wilmore is starting to feel about Bernie Sanders and the realness of this campaign. So we'll let YouTube and Viacom play their games, and we're gonna get around him as much as we can. Yeah, that happened to me the other night when I was streaming from Gordon Biersch here in Burbank at a meeting of burners out there. Several groups got together to plan the revolution, and over some brewskis, and I couldn't broadcast live on my Feel the Burn YouTube account, and we were having a little trouble because I really didn't give the guys over there at the network any notice that I was going to do that, other than the fact that I was going to the group, and then I just decided to do it. And Janine valiantly tried to help out, but it just didn't work. And then I tried to stream on my account, and I found out I had been locked out for this exact reason, for sharing clips of Bernie information with you guys. And we put disclaimers up all the time. We believe it's fair use. We don't try to cover up logos or copyrights. We always acknowledge where they come from. We are not monetized in any way, shape, or form. And that's often what we talk about, and that's what our disputes are. We sort of have a rote dispute. Now, a lot of this is a bot. You know, they've got a computer algorithm that just goes through there and starts to match up things that they see, like facial recognition software, I suppose. But we're trying to break the blackout, guys. So we're gonna keep trying to bring you Bernie in the mainstream media when we see him, and because we know a lot of folks out there don't have TVs, don't have cable. And so we're going to try to bring that to you, and we know they're going to we're just faster, that's all. They put the stuff up eventually, usually. It just takes them a lot longer than we do. So we use it a lot as breaking news. I certainly do for my show and my Twitter account. I just, it's timely information. If they want to block it after a week or so, that's there's so much new Bernie news coming out all the time, and his momentum and his candidacy is real. And it's real when Chuck Todd opens his eyes and starts to come out of his sleepiness, as Donald Trump called him, sleepy-eyed Chuck Todd. But boy, do I miss. Yeah. Anyway, can we go to that Meet the Press clip? Let's try that. Let's see if that one hasn't been blocked. I don't think it has, and it's been very popular. So let's play that one. Meet the Press.
1 second.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. This is Bernie Sanders' interview with Chuck Todd, and just Chuck's utter surprise that this is what he found at the fair, that Bernie seemed to be resonating with the folks a lot more than anybody else. All right. Here we go. Chuck Todd.
Welcome back. To understand what's going on in the Democratic primary, you have to sample the mood on the ground. And from my 3 days in Iowa, it's clear to me that the Bernie Sanders phenomenon is very real, with the Vermont independent senator attracting huge crowds. Senator Sanders joins me now from Iowa. Senator, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you.
I have to say, I was both in Clear Lake, watched you there, watched you in the soapbox yesterday, where you had so many people. The fair stopped. Forget Trump, forget Hillary Clinton. I think you might have had the biggest crowd yesterday. Why do you think you're resonating at this point, and how do you take this from being a movement that seems big in August, and how do you keep it from fading 5 months from now?
Well, Chuck, I think we are resonating all over this country and here in Iowa because we're talking about issues that are life and death issues to the American people. and that is the collapse of the American middle class, the massive and grotesque level of income and wealth inequality in this country, the fact that we are the only major country on earth that doesn't guarantee health care to all people, the fact that millions of working class families are now finding it very, very difficult to send their kids to college, and the basic fact that people are working longer hours for lower wages, and meanwhile almost all of the new income and wealth is going to the top 1%. And then you add to that a campaign finance system as a result of Citizens United that allows billionaire families like the Koch brothers and others to literally buy politicians and corrupt the American political process.
You know, Senator,
add all of that together, and the American people are saying enough is enough.
You know, the last time I had you on, and I asked you about what do you think of the comparisons between the phenomenon of what's happening with you and whether there were similarities with Trump, you were dismissive of it. But can I tell you, I can't tell you how many people came up to me and said both positive things about you and Trump at the same time, using things like the campaign money example and the outsider. What do you think you have in common with the Trump voter? Forget Trump, but the Trump voter.
Yeah, but here's the difference. You know, I am not a billionaire. My family doesn't have a whole lot of money. We are raising our campaign contributions from 350,000 people who are contributing, Chuck, on average, $31.20 a piece. That's our response, to go out to working class people, to go out to the middle class people and gain support. I think that's a little bit different approach than Donald Trump's.
BuzzFeed has an article out this morning. Headline is this: Sanders campaign reaches out to Black Lives Matter activists. Quote, I apologize, it took our campaign so long. Tell me more about it.
Well, that was sent out by a staffer, not by me. Look, we are reaching out to all kinds of groups. Absolutely. I met with folks at Black Lives Matter. We're reaching out to Latino groups. We're reaching out to the unions. We're fighting to expand Social Security, and we're reaching out to senior groups. We're reaching out to healthcare groups because we believe that everybody in America is entitled to healthcare. We're reaching out to everybody. But on this issue of Black Lives Matter, let me be very clear. The issue that they are raising is a very, very important issue. And there is no candidate for president who will be stronger in fighting against institutional racism and, by the way, reforming a broken criminal justice system. Chuck, we have more people in jail in the United States of America than any other country on earth. And we need real changes. We need to do away with the militarization of local police departments. We need to do away with minimum sentencing. We need education and jobs for our young people rather than jails and incarceration.
I understand that, but you said a staffer put it out, but you felt an apology was necessary?
No, I don't. I think we're going to be working with all groups. This was sent out without my knowledge.
Fair enough. Let me ask you something that Martin O'Malley said. Clearly was a reference to you earlier this week. I don't think it's a problem for the Democratic Party, but it might be a problem long-term for Senator Sanders. I am a lifelong Democrat, and I believe very deeply in the principles of our party. That's why I choose to be a Democrat, not just in presidential years, but every year of my life. This reference that you have not become a registered member of the Democratic Party. What do you say in response?
Well, legally, in the state of Vermont, you can't, legally become a member. You vote in the Democratic primary. I have done that. I've supported and helped Democratic candidates for governor in my state. I have been a member of the Democratic caucus for 25 years in the House and the Senate. I'm now the ranking member of the Budget Committee. But it is true. I am the longest serving independent in the history of the United States Congress. And let me tell you I think it is an advantage. Because when I speak to 28,000 people in Portland, Oregon, or 27,000 people in Los Angeles, the vast majority of those people, they're not quote-unquote registered Democrats. They are ordinary people who are sick and tired of politics as usual. And by the way, one of the real advantages, I think, of me winning the Democratic primary is that we can get a lot of young people, a lot of working people involved in the political process, getting them out to vote in a way that establishment politicians can't. Democrats are losing because voter turnout is abysmal. I think we can change that.
Very quickly, during one of your largest applause lines is when you said, when you become president, you're going to focus on creating a healthcare system that's essentially Medicare for all. Does that mean you're going to scrap the Affordable Care Act and then try to implement Medicare for all if you're president?
Well, Chuck, what it means is we are, as you know, the only major country on earth that doesn't guarantee health care to all people. I live 100 miles away from Canada. They do it. we spend almost twice as much per capita on healthcare as do the people of any other country. So what we want to do is expand on Medicare. Medicare is a popular, good system. It covers people who are old. I want to see Medicare cover everybody. A Medicare for all single-payer program is the way, in my view, that you provide universal, quality, cost-effective healthcare, and we join the rest of the industrialized world.
All right, last question. Joe Biden, you welcome him into the race? Do you think he should run?
I have known Joe for many, many years, and everybody who knows Joe likes him and respects him. The decision as to whether or not he runs is his. If he does run, I promise him an issue-oriented campaign. We're debating the major issues facing the American people.
Help your campaign or hurt?
We'll let the political pundits determine that.
All right, Senator Bernie Sanders. I look forward to a longer, extended, issue-oriented interview at some point where we can do the gambit of issues, including some foreign policy in the near future, sir.
Love to do it.
Thank you.
The gambit. Chuck wants to do the gambit of issues with Bernie, and a smile on his face. Love to. He had a big smile on his face too when Chuck seemed impressed by his connection with the people in the crowds throughout his weekend, and some good stuff in that interview. Richard, are you there?
I'm here.
What stands out to you in that Meet the Press clip?
For me, a lot of it is I would say body language, but I guess it's really face language that's being expressed between Todd and Bernie Sanders about how there's that underlying issue of not talking about the issues that they just kind of touched on at the end, or about, oh, I'll have you back on to talk about the issues. It's like, well, why weren't we talking about them this time?
Right. Yeah. He's like, yeah, no problem. Yeah, anytime. You got my number. He's only been on. I think he's only been on Meet the Press. I think maybe 3 times, and it's all been since he's been running for president. And just recently, I think, as a matter of fact, I made an observation that the week that he announced, it was literally ignored completely by Meet the Press. And he may have been only on Meet the Press once before, when years and years and years ago. So he'll be on again with a big interview, and we have some tape now and some information about the Dyett High School. There is a hunger strike being planned, and it's all about climate change and the crucial nature of climate change, and it has to do with a high school that is trying to become a leader in green technology, and they want to. And so, if we have that tape, I'd like to know a little bit more about what's happening in Dyett, and so let's play that. If we could.
What do we want? Dyett! When do we want it? Now! If we don't get it, shut it down! 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 What do we
Yeah, and just to expand a bit about what's going on in Dyett.
Yes, Richard, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let us know what's happening exactly.
Yeah, basically what we have is Rahm Emanuel, who's I believe the mayor there. I'm not sure if that's exactly his title, but he's I guess a little bit about where Dyett is. Dyett High School is a school in Bronzeville in the south side of Chicago. It's a historically black neighborhood in the early teens and 20s. Black people escaping the segregation in the South and other oppression down there came to start sort of a black metropolis. There's kind of how they described it. And there's a victory monument there celebrating African-American contributions to the Allied victory in World War I. It's a very historical place. And Dyett High School is the last public school in Bronzeville. Public high school in Bronzeville. Rahm Emanuel's been pushing for privatization and charter schools.
Aha.
Yes, which have had mixed success in the area, to put it as nicely as it can. And the community is trying to bring attention to the fact that they've been making their own improvements without having to go private or to take that route. and they want to maintain the community aspect of what they're doing, and part of that is looking towards the future, and in an effort to help save the public school, one of the plans that they put forward was to have it be a revolutionarily green school, one of the best in the area, and possibly an example for the nation as far as how you can take although it was struggling in the past, they've made a lot of improvements, but take a moderate or improving school and make it even better, but while keeping its ties to the community without privatizing.
And now it's been pulled off the agenda. Is that part of the issue, that there was a deadline, I believe, on August 26th, and now it's been pulled off the agenda as to whether or not the funding is going to happen for the expansion or the new aspect of the high school?
Yes, the decision, I believe, is turning it into a charter school, that what may actually end up happening is students in that area may not be able to attend the school that's in their area, which
right.
For any community, you can imagine if you had a high school down the road and you want to send your kids there, but they tell you, well, no, it's been privatized and this isn't for your community exclusively anymore, that could be it could feel exclusionary in a way that seems peculiar in a historically black area, and it brings up a lot of sore parts of the past.
Well, it's pretty serious if we're talking about a hunger strike, to whether or not some public funding for educating our kids and looking forward, progressing, being being a leader in this world on issues of climate and green technology. And now they're also, I believe, they're going up against a sports school and an arts school for funding, both, I guess, of which are private or some type of charter schools.
Exactly. Yep.
Right.
It would be turned into either some sort of kind of a tech facility or a sports facility, and that would not.
Well, I think we might have some more clips. Let me make sure you guys know that we're going to bring it to you, Bernie. I'm seeing over the live production feed here that we are going to have Bernie at 3 o'clock. We've got a reporter on the ground, and we're going to, as soon as he's on our hangout here, we're going to bring him to you. And do we have a couple? Let me just say to you guys, thanks for hanging on and watching today. We are going to bring you Bernie this afternoon, so you won't have me the whole time. But we are all volunteer organization at Bernie 2016 TV, a network for the 99, and we are doing this with completely off-the-shelf stuff, Google Hangouts, and it has its issues. So occasionally you're going to get some technical difficulties, but we're working furiously to correct them. Occasionally you'll see a shot of John in our control booth up in Portland. I'm in Burbank. Richard, where are you? Are you in Seattle area? Where are you?
I am south of Tacoma, so about a little over an hour south of Seattle.
Very good. And Janine is out there in Rhode Island, and we've got Rich in Texas. And so, we're all spread out. It's all volunteer, and we could sure use more help. We could use reporters on the ground wherever Bernie's going to be. We had a production meeting this afternoon, and boy, the minds and the people working furiously to create just something amazing is going to be happening in September on the network, and for Bernie, and the money bomb on the 8th, and just lots of things happening where we've got Nigel Harrison is going to have his live show first up probably on the network. He's just about ready to launch, so I'm hopefully going to be close behind him, and we want you guys to get involved. If you want to have your own show, if you want to talk about your issues and Bernie, we want you involved. So get a hold of us on the Google Plus page, which is Bernie 2016 TV. Follow me on Twitter, Feel the Bern TV, and on Facebook. And we try to keep you, and subscribe to the YouTube channel on Bernie 2016 TV, because then you'll know whenever we do have a live show, if we're going to bring you Bernie, we possibly can. We were going to try to see if we could bring you Bernie from Reno tomorrow, but I think we're going to try to focus on South Carolina this weekend, and we may have something tomorrow night. We're still working on it, but I'm going to start focusing on South Carolina because it's just these events are just going to start building up, and we are just in our infancy. We're 6 weeks old, this network, and all volunteers. Nobody's getting paid, which is another way that you can contribute to Bernie is with your time. So that's what we're trying to do, and join in on our social media and on the YouTube account, and subscribe, and join us on the chat. We got about 90 folks watching. Thanks for being here. We're going to bring you Bernie in just a little bit. Yeah, John, I know we need reporters, and all you need is a Hangout. Where we really want you to do it on Hangouts. We can pull periscopes in, but they're not perfect, but they're great for like slow crowd shots. Don't easy on your pans, guys. But it's not the best forum, not the best medium, and Hangouts are best. And speaking of that, we have that's a video. Okay, I thought we had a Hangout. I thought our reporter was in. I just saw it pop up. But I'm seeing on our preview here, we do have an interview. And who are we interviewing here, Richard? Do you know who this video is of?
We have 2 interviews from one of our colleagues, Sabin, who it was at an event, a Bernie event. I believe it was a musical also event, and I don't have the names for us right at the moment, but they talked a bit about why they supported. I believe that was May that we're going to go to first.
Okay.
So
we'll get their names up. This is Winnie. Okay, this is Winnie. One of the 99.
My name is Winnie Wilkinson, and I relocated here 15 years ago. The thing that I adore about Bernie Sanders is he is concerned about the little person, and he also is concerned about the student loans, because he believes what I believe about the student loans and how it could really wreck your life after college. And another thing that I like about him is the big banks. Banks are too big, they charge too much money, and I believe that if he becomes the president, he will do something about it. So I know that Bernie Sanders is the can-do man. So when Obama went in, it's, oh yes, we can. Now Bernie's doing, he's the can-do man. That's my Bernie.
Great. Can you show off your shirt? I noticed you got the Feel the Burn tie-dye.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
There you go.
Great.
And I could show you the back.
Oh, there it is. Nice.
Okay.
Great.
And this was done and it's sold right to this farmers market. All of us trying to support Bernie and to get the word out there that he's the man. He's our next president.
Great.
I do believe that.
All right. Thanks a lot, Winnie.
You're welcome. My name is Winnie Wilson.
Okay, Winnie, one of the 99, with her awesome shirt, her awesome Feel the Burn tie-dye, and so that was great. Sabin's, that's up in Vermont. That's of course Bernie's neck of the woods, and he's been. This is what we want you to do, folks. Talk to everybody. Talk to the 99. If you've got somebody that's passionate about Bernie, wearing a cool shirt that they've created or they've gotten, there's so many cool shirts that are happening. Give Bernie your $5, your $8 on the money bomb days, and then wear Bernie attire proudly and start a conversation with folks. So you see somebody, record it, and we have a page that we'll maybe share in the YouTube chat, the link where you can upload your videos, and we'll bring them to the channel. I watch Morning Joke in the morning, and just to see if they don't when they're not talking about Bernie, which they don't, they just talk about Donald. But then I go straight to Bernie 2016 TV, and I see what's new and what's the new information that's come in. So that's always a great place to start, because I try to get stuff up there all the time, and I know everybody else, all the volunteers are. So get your videos up, and we'll get all the 99 out there talking about Bernie. And we've got another one on deck. And this is Darlene. She's also in Vermont. So let's see what Darlene has to say, why she's voting for Bernie.
Tell us your name and why you think Bernie would make a good president.
My name is Darlene Whitty Townsend. I think Bernie would make a great president because he understands that the ordinary person has been treated with obscene disrespect by every member of Congress practically, by the business community. Who's on the ordinary person's side? It's like there's a whole culture of slavery has been created in the last 50 years. Everyone is picking on people. Students can't afford to go to college. They can't get jobs when they come out. They're paying off their student loans forever. There's such oppression. There's no hope left on Main Street. You know, the most bizarre thing I ever saw was when a little town in New Hampshire built a Walmart. And they decorated the Walmart to look like the Main Street they had destroyed.
Wow.
That was obscene. The way the banks have treated the ordinary person is obscene.
Right.
The tax base. So many politicians are now complaining about the tax base. What do they spend the tax base on? They don't spend it on roads. They don't spend it on education.
Right.
They don't spend it on health care. They spend it on never-ending debates about gay rights, abortion. These are things that should be handled by the individual, not by Congress, in never-ending debates, not by state legislatures and never-ending debates. They are wasting the tax money they collect. Meanwhile, they complain about what they call entitlement. If you have worked for 20 years, you are entitled to your Social Security without a man or woman elected to office who has perfect health care and a huge salary and an obscene retirement account trying to take it away from you every other day, and it never stops. Pickety, pickety, pick. You'd think they were poor.
All right. Another one of the 99. Marlene, was that Marlene?
Darlene.
Darlene, sorry. Darlene, one of the 99 of her. I liked her soundtrack. That was great.
Yeah, I couldn't help but notice that, you know, she couldn't stop bobbing her head with it and kind of even
and the lyrics
influenced the way she was talking.
Lyrics made a great blues song, man. The Walmart. They built a Walmart and then made the facade look like the Main Street they tore down to put up the Walmart.
Yeah, I noticed that you reacted to that, and I had the similar reaction when I watched it. It was just like, wow.
Yeah, I tell you what, I haven't been in a Walmart in 20 years. I don't if I even went ever then. I just won't do it. It's one of the most dangerous parking lots to shop in, by the way, guys. More crimes happen in Walmarts than just about anywhere else because they don't pay for security. Hey, I'm looking at great pictures of folks lining up around the event in Chicago. So it does look like it's going to be a big crowd. A couple of comments that came through on the YouTube that Nis Peterson, I think it is. He was saying, don't underestimate Republicans that are looking for a sane candidate. And Bernie really is a sane. He is a conservative, really, when it comes down to it. He's very sane. And so yeah, keep the comments coming, guys. We got about 100 folks watching. We're going to have Bernie for you. We've got a reporter on the ground, I understand, and we're going to talk to him there. We've got the photos coming through of some of the crowd we're putting up there from our chat. So that's cool. And let's see. We've got some videos while we're waiting to pull our reporter in. We're definitely in contact with him. As soon as I see him down there on our little preview, I will bring him to you. And if we have his name, guys, drop it in the live production as soon as possible so I can acknowledge this one of the 99. And so let's go to, that was a great soundtrack. It kind of got me looking for some more music for Bernie. And there's a lot of great music videos being produced out there for Bernie, which is something you can do too to get the word out. Let's do Pretty Fly for an Old White Guy. Oh, Pretty Fly for an Old White Senator. That's the one. Donald has a good remix too. I don't want to necessarily promote Donald, but it's pretty funny. I got it on my Twitter. But let's watch Pretty Fly for an Old White Senator.
Please welcome Senator Bernie Sanders.
White guy.
Time has come movement which says to the billionaire class, you can't have it all. This campaign is sending a message loud and clear, and that is, you can't get tax breaks when children in America go hungry. You cannot continue to send our jobs to China when millions of Americans are desperately looking for work. You can't hide your profits in the Cayman Islands and in other tax havens while we have so many unmet needs in America. You're going to have to start paying. The greed of corporate America and the billionaire class has got to end, and we are going to end it for them. When we talk about illegal behavior, Wall Street cannot continue to be an island unto itself, gambling trillions in risky financial instruments while expecting the public to bail it out. If a bank is too big to fail, it is too big to exist. The American political system has been totally corrupted, and the foundations of American democracy are being undermined. One family will be spending in this election cycle close to $1 billion. The Walton family of Walmart owns more wealth than the bottom 130 million Americans. This is not democracy, this is oligarchy, and we have got to stand up. There is nothing that we cannot accomplish. We can make certain that every person in this country can get all of the education he or she needs, regardless of the income. We can create millions of decent paying jobs. We can have the best child care system in the world. They may have the money, but we have the people, and when the people stand together, we can win. Thank you all very much.
Turn that off, bro.
And that was Bernie's, and I'm not sure who that's from, but it was a pretty nice little mix there. I appreciated it. Looks like Dave's dealing with some issues there, but one of the things I noticed that.
Sorry, guys, I'm back.
Oh, there you go.
Good, yeah, Richard. Yeah, I don't know who that was. Davy Duke. Davy Duke was that video, and that was pretty fly for an old white senator. And that was a remix. And maybe we can. I don't know if we can find that Donald Trump remix that I put up on my Twitter. Some folks are saying that he is pretty hilarious, and that remix is pretty funny. Maybe we'll play that afterwards in the wrap up. But we do have Bernie coming up, guys. We have Bernie coming up in 10 minutes. And we do have a reporter on the ground. Ryan Smith is going to be joining us via Periscope, which is one of the technologies. It's not our favorite, but we did some testing on the side over here, and we think we have a pretty good connection with Ryan. We hope it holds. We've been running into some stream issues, bandwidth issues at these venues because the media, it was nothing yesterday, and LA was just horrendous. Nobody could get anything out in LA from inside. And it just gets sucked up in the air there when Bernie comes to town. So we're hoping we're going to have a good stream with him. We did some testing, and let me know when he's ready to join. I don't see him down here on the preview. But while we're waiting, we're going to have Bernie in 10 minutes. Now I'm told we do have a stream as well, so we will have Bernie ready to go. And let's do another video while we're waiting. Nigel's watching. Hey, Nigel, thanks for watching today, brother. You're up tomorrow if we do something from Reno, because I'm going to a wedding. But we're all volunteers here at Bernie 2016 TV, and we are passionate about our candidate, and we want to break the Bernie blackout in the media, and that's what we're trying to do. And here's another great music video that is let's see, it's about 5 minutes, 6 minutes long. So we'll be back before we go to Bernie, and maybe we'll get Ryan in at that point, and we'll talk to him and see what that crowd looks like on the ground. Bernie takes on the media. Let's watch that video.
Yes. You, in your speech tonight, you said you won't criticize or attack Hillary Clinton, certainly, but you did seem to draw some implicit contrast when you said you don't take money from super PACs and you voted against the Iraq War.
So what I said is the corporate media talks about all kinds of issues except the most important issues. Okay? And time after time, I'm being asked to criticize Hillary Clinton. That's the sport that you guys like. The reason this campaign is doing well because we're talking about the issues that impact the American people. I've known Hillary Clinton for 25 years. I like her, I respect her. I disagree with her on a number of issues. No great secret. I oppose the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Okay? I want to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour.
Doesn't she?
No, not to the best of my knowledge, no. I believe I am opposed to the Keystone Pipeline. Okay, I voted against the war in Iraq. I voted against the USA Patriot Act. These are differences of opinions that we will discuss. But the issue that I want to be talking about is the collapse of the American middle class. You guys going to write about that?
Yeah.
Is that an important issue?
Issue.
The need to create millions of decent paying jobs. The obscenity of the kind of level of income and wealth inequality that we have today. The reason our campaign is doing well is because people are responding to those issues. So I am not going to get into the game of sitting around attacking Hillary Clinton. We disagree. We're going to have, if I have anything to say about it, a respectful and intelligent debate. Other questions?
Why do you think working class people in America vote against their economic self-interest?
That's a good question. And if I knew the complete answer to that, I'd be a lot smarter than I am. But this is what I will tell you. I think the Republicans have done a brilliant job over the years. They're very smart guys in dividing people on a million different issues. They divide people on gay marriage. They divide people on abortion. They divide people on immigration. And what my job is, and it's not just in blue states, believe me, we're going to go to red states, we're going to go to conservative states, is to bring working people together around an agenda that works for their kids and works for their parents. Raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Having a trade policy that creates jobs in America, not in China. Making sure that all of our kids can get a college education regardless of their income. Fighting for pay equity for women workers. We have an agenda that I believe can bring people together. And when we do that, we're going to win this election very easily, I think.
How do you reconcile being the anti-establishment candidate with being a career politician?
Okay, other question.
Well, you said you were a politician. I think that's a fair question.
I run for office I've been in office for 25 years. As a candidate for mayor of Burlington, I became the first independent ever elected in the city's history by taking on the entire ruling class of the city of Burlington. Does that sound like a career politician? When I began my political career, I received 2% of the vote and then 1% of the vote. Last election, I got 71% of the vote. Running for office, representing working people, taking on Wall Street, taking on the military-industrial complex, taking on private insurance companies, taking on pharmaceutical industry. I don't think that makes me a career politician. I think that makes me as a candidate who is standing up for working people and prepared to take on the big money interest in this country.
Your new
BuzzFeed UK. I was just wondering,
I'm sorry?
BuzzFeed UK. I was just wondering, are you aware of the rise of Jeremy Corbyn as the UK Labour
I am a
Party
little
candidate?
bit, yeah.
And whether that's something you think you can tap into and whether you've got a message?
Look, I think whether it's the UK or here in the United States, here's the answer. People are sick and tired of establishment politics. They are sick and tired of a politics in which candidates continue to represent the rich and the powerful, go out begging money from the wealthy. They are sick and tired of an economics in which almost all of the new income and wealth is going to the top 1%. And they're tired of a medium, which continues to want to have gotcha questions and make conflict between the candidates rather than talking about the real issues impacting the American people. And that is why I'm not familiar with what's going on daily. I am aware of the candidate. But I think that is what's going on in this campaign. The American people are saying enough is enough. Why is it that almost all new income and wealth is going to the top 1%? Why is it that our kids can't afford to go to college? Why is it that our child care system is dysfunctional? Why is it that we're the only major country on earth that doesn't guarantee health care to all of our people who have family and medical leave? The American people want us to address those issues. They do not want us to be attacking each other. They want to focus, they want a real debate on real issues, and I intend to give it to them. Thank you very much.
Love you, Bernie. They were saying that a lot. RanderSupportedNews.org. Okay, yeah, that's. I'm not sure exactly who that was from, but that was Bernie speaking to the press after the Dubuque event yesterday that we tried so valiantly to bring you. But it was Scott Galindez brought us that video, one of the 99. And that was a press interview after 2,000 folks saw him in Dubuque, Iowa yesterday, which was originally they thought it was going to be 1,700, and it ended up being more. Folks talking about the straw poll in the YouTube chat. I think he won by 7 or 8 points, or it's I think it continues until the end, and then there's a final. But he's been up in that straw poll for the whole weekend, and Jim the other day was saying that Hillary we think really hurt herself by not speaking on the soapbox, and so we'll see. That seemed to be the consensus of some folks that even Chuck Todd was talking to. So we're still trying to get Ryan Smith in. We're having a little trouble with the Periscope. I think we're getting those bandwidth issues. When you get closer to a Bernie event, he radiates this energy, and there's so much energy it's overwhelmed. We can't get the information out. So we're going to keep trying to get in with Ryan, but Rich Green is still here with us, and there were some pretty serious questions there to Bernie, and I think the press is starting to take notice. What do you think?
Yeah, I do think that between with all the criticism that a lot of the media has gotten about constantly talking about Trump, they've kind of made a realization that they need to start turning towards the serious part of covering this campaign, and nobody's really more serious about the issues than Bernie Sanders is, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. Certainly, Donald put out, I guess, his first policy paper a little early on immigration, which is it's a great read. I hear. Just put it right next to the loo, and when you go in there, just you can pick it up and use it. If you don't want to read it, you can use it for something else. But yeah, it's of course get rid of everybody, deport everyone, deport them all, deport all the dreamers who are actually citizens, technically. So yeah, deport them all with their families though. Make sure that you keep the families together. Yeah, so that's a great plan. Anyway, Bernie is a rock star. I mean, even in the press junket, they were saying, we love you, Bernie, and getting money out of politics, huge. It's a huge issue in Iowa. It looks like that seems to be everybody on both sides realizes that is it's one of Trump's issues. He talks about Bush being controlled by these puppets, right?
Yeah, for all of his faults, that's one thing that he put right on the spotlight on the debate stage about how the politicians are more or less bought and paid for, and while some of them denied taking money directly from Trump, none of them really denied that the money coming in does influence their behavior, which, as far as I remember, is supposed to be illegal. I don't know if I'm missing
something. That's the thing, Rich. None of this is illegal. It's all been carefully crafted. Same with the banks. That's why none of these guys, other than the fact they're too big to fail, too big to jail. And we're going to break that up when Bernie's in, and we have the Senate that we need and the House from the wave of people that are going to vote for this political revolution. That's what Bernie's talking about. He's talking about getting the voters out, these young people, just these people that haven't voted, and that's what it's going to take. And that's if Bernie Sanders can win if you vote for him. Everybody says I love Bernie, but he can't win. Well, if you vote for him in the primary, he actually can win. So it's you can't vote in the general, but if you vote in a primary, you're on board for voting in the general. So make sure you know how to vote in your primary. Find out in your state if it's an open primary. In Vermont, they have this thing called democracy, where you actually walk in, you just tell them which primary you want to vote in, and they give you a ballot. You don't have to register, and that's one of the issues with Bernie. He was asked about on Meet the Press that you have to. Martin O'Malley is, of course, red baiting and throwing the socialist name out there that the DNC seems to have grabbed onto as their rallying cry against Bernie, and talking about socialism and we know from, because we're now educated and we've Googled it and we've actually learned the difference between Chinese communism, democratic socialism, and I have a great interview actually. We're gonna put. I was at the Burbank for Bernie, and I talked to a French socialist, Christian, who is a American citizen now, but we talked about socialism a little bit, and we've got a viewer from Switzerland watching. I didn't catch your name going by, but welcome, Zurich. Willkommen? I don't know, maybe, is that it? But it's Switzerland watching Bernie 2016 TV, 154 people right now. Thanks, guys. We're going to bring you the stream. I'm watching my production chat to see if we do have a link for the stream or if it's going to come up. So stick with us. We're still looking for our reporter. Let me know if we should go to another video, guys, if it looks like it's going to be a little longer. But we can talk a little bit more. I'm going to find that Trump video. There's a Trump music video remix that I just crack up every time I see it. So I think we need to watch it, because it's I don't know what the story is with Trump. He may do it. He may take it all the way. Can you imagine the billionaire versus Bernie? I'm not a billionaire. I didn't bring my helicopter. We've got I see a video coming on the road West Coast. Is that a behind the scenes in Seattle? Oh, that's a good one. So help me out here, guys. No reporter. We're still trying, right?
We're talking to somebody right now.
Great. Okay.
So just give us a few, and we're loading up another video for you. Basically, we're vamping right now, guys. But we do have somebody there on the scene. We're just trying to get them in.
Right. Oh, I hear you. I hear you. No, this is all off-the-shelf technology. We're trying to get folks that are on the ground, just using whatever they've got, so they don't have to have special equipment. So we run into challenges just with bandwidth. I don't know why we don't have the kind of bandwidth that socialist countries have. But we've got a video from behind the scenes from August 8th in Seattle, where the crowd was 15,000. I haven't seen this video. I'm not sure what the content is, but we love good Bernie videos. So let's roll that beautiful Bernie footage.
It is my honor to present to you the next president of the United States of America, Senator Bernie Sanders!
We have 12,000 people inside. I'm going to have to get going inside in a moment, but I just want to thank all of you for coming out. What a fantastic crowd. I believe we're going to be able to stream outside here as well.
Thank you. Police at 2,500 to 3,000.
That is why I have introduced legislation that does a couple of fairly revolutionary things. Number one, it says that in the United States of America, every public college and university will be tuition free. There is no president who will fight harder to end institutional racism in this country and to reform our broken criminal justice system. There is another injustice that we must address in men Talking to the guys now. Stand with the women and demand pay equity for women workers.
He says what he means, and he means what he says, and he is not for sale. You can't buy him, and I just think that is so neat. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you, if we're all very smart and a little bit lucky, the next president of the United States, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Those people who don't have the guts to go out and tell people what they think, those candidates who don't believe they can win based on their ideas, those candidates, those governors, those Republican states who are trying to keep people from participating in the political process are nothing more than cowards. That is why I have just introduced legislation for universal voter registration. When we stand together, when we do not allow them to divide us up by the color of our skin, by our sexual orientation, by whether a man or a woman, whether born in America or born somewhere else, when we stand together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. Let's do it. Thank you.
All right, I think we're back there, guys. That was a great video. That was actually apparently that's an official campaign video, or at least it was released by the campaign. Good job with that behind-the-scenes stuff from really the West Coast swing that covered all of the towns, man. Portland, Seattle, and Los Angeles. Yeah, and they just started getting bigger and bigger. And Portland and Los Angeles were just about the same, 28,000 in Portland and 27.5 in Los Angeles, which I was at. And there was a lot of local media there, but there certainly wasn't any national press that I could discern. Young Turks were there, and we'll maybe show that clip later. But just amazing, those crowd shots. It really is. People are saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." That really is a revolution. Look at those Periscope feeds. Yeah, that's it, baby. We're this is what it's all about. And yeah, 28,000 in Portland, 27.5 in Los Angeles, and yeah, there's another Trump music video. Hey, Powers Mind, share that with us. We'll try to play it. I know we don't want to. But it's funny stuff, and we want to focus on Bernie. We really do. And we're finding out that Bernie is now going to speak at 5:30. There's a line around the building that we've seen pictures of, and so the press is being let in, and we're not going to have his feed probably till 5:30 or just over because they're not letting people in yet. Pardon me. So you get to talk to us for another, and we do have our reporter. We're connecting with Ryan now. Intro speakers are at 5:30. Okay, we're going to try to bring those to you too. If we can, we like those because it helps us get our technology in order to make sure we got sound for you and everything's cool. And Simone Sanders really just fires up the crowd. She really fired up LA, and what a great hire in that national press secretary, Simone Sanders. I can't wait until she's on the podium in the press room. And so it's great. We're going to have Bernie, and we have Ryan Smith we're trying to bring in on a Periscope. And I saw coming through that he might be ready. Is that possible? That he is ready? At least 20 minutes? Okay. So we're still looking to get Ryan. And that was, who's Amen for getting a reporter? Yay. I don't know what that means, but yay, good job, Amen. So we're still looking to talk to Ryan Smith. He's on the ground. We're going to try to keep you updated with what's going on. The intro speakers are going to go on at 5:30. Tomorrow he's going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada for a press junket, private press junket, I believe, at the Luxor Hotel around 1 o'clock. And then he's going to be in Reno, Nevada tomorrow evening. And then, of course, is South Carolina over the weekend, and that's a big one. Both Nevada and South Carolina are the two of the earlier primary states. One's a caucus. Nevada's a caucus state, I believe, and then South Carolina, I don't know if they're a caucus or primary, if anybody knows that. So those are two very important states, and I was going to try to maybe go to Reno tomorrow, but we're all volunteers here, and we're trying to get a flow of covering the Bernie events. We want to make sure. It's hard to find out if there is going to be a stream ahead of time. We're always looking for whatever streams they're going to be from either the regular media or from the campaign itself. But it's always a last-minute thing, and of course that's what we're trying to bring it to you whenever we can. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, and you'll get a notice when we are going to go live. You can follow me on Twitter at Feel the Bern TV, and on Facebook as well. I'm mostly on Twitter, but you can do it on Facebook too. And I try to find Bernie in the mainstream media and bring you clips to that. And I always check Bernie 2016 TV now right away to see what new videos are coming up from folks out there in Bernerville. And you can add Bernie to anything now, so just make sure you're doing that. And we're putting up your tweets across. Thanks for joining us, guys. We got 167 folks watching. We had a lot of folks hanging with us last night, too, even though we didn't have that feed. We've got a Funny or Die video lined up. I love Funny or Die, and there's been a couple of good ones that have come through. I think I know what this one is, or maybe I don't. Who knows? But I think we're going to enjoy it. So let's bring up this Funny or Die video, and we'll keep trying to get Ryan in. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Alex.
And I'm Megan.
And we're at the Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena, here to see Bernie Sanders live. Everybody, make some noise for Bernie! Need 2 tickets. What are you looking forward to hearing Bernie perform tonight? Maybe climate change is real?
I love that one. That was a really good one.
$15 minimum wage?
That one might be my favorite, though, of all. But
More than Break Up the Banks?
No, nothing beats Break Up the Banks.
Break Up the Banks is his greatest hit.
It really is.
Describe backstage at a Bernie Sanders concert to us.
Oh, man, everyone's having a good time. They don't call it a political party for nothing.
So would you say that you are a fander? Is that the term for somebody who follows Bernie?
That's a great word. I'm going to start using that. I am a fander.
Are you looking forward to hearing any of Bernie's greatest hits tonight?
I'm definitely interested to hear Make College Affordable. I think it's terrible if Germany can make college free for everybody and we can't. We've been a democratic nation way longer than they have.
What do you think about the beef between Drake and Bernie? Have you heard about the beef?
Oh, I'm not familiar with that.
Drake accused Bernie of not writing his own campaign platform.
I wouldn't pay too much attention to that.
Oh, so what are your favorite Bernie hits? What do you want him to play tonight?
My favorite Bernie hit would be lessen inequality. Just we know it's natural, but we just need it to be gentler and kinder. And of course, let's just kind of do this together because the isms are kind of played out, and it's a we-ism, not a me.
That rock.
Have you been bootlegging any of these shows at Bernie's?
You know, I haven't really been. Have you?
Yeah, totally. I've definitely been bootlegging the shows. I actually have some tapes. I have Bernie live in Iowa, and I got Bernie in Portland last night. This is fresh.
No
this
way.
has an awesome, awesome version of Climate Change is Real. If this hacky sack in my pocket, if this symbolizes corporate money, how hard would Bernie kick it?
It'd probably go around that way.
Get you unmuted there, Dave.
Sorry, that's hell. I'm a fander. Yeah, I'm a fander. I have to say, we got the bootlegs. That's what we got. That's our version of bootlegs are the Periscope feeds and the streams from the streams from the '99. That's what the bootleg is for Bernie Sanders, the rock star. Bernie Sanders summer tour. That's hilarious. I need tickets, but they're free. I don't understand. It's great. That's an awesome video. So we're gonna have our reporter Ryan in a little bit, probably about 10 minutes before the intros begin. So he's, I guess, trying to get into the venue and get parked and all that stuff. So we're gonna give him we're gonna have a stream from the '99 as soon as we can, and then we're gonna bring you Bernie at 5:30 or whenever they start. Whenever their stream comes in. So we're going to bring you some more videos and do maybe a little Q&A with you guys. I don't know if you want to ask me anything or bring up a topic about Bernie, and we can discuss it a little bit while we're waiting. I know Richard is still here, and maybe if Richard, if we got a question somebody comes up with, you can jump in and talk about it, something that you're interested in. And this is Bernie 2016 TV, a network for the '99. It's all about you guys, and we're looking for more reporters. We really could use, if you're going to be on the ground at a Bernie event coming up. South Carolina, we need reporters for South Carolina. If you're going to go to that event, get a hold of us this week as soon as you can, and we just need about an hour or so with you in a hangout with a Google Plus account. And we can give you just a little bit of training to show you what you need to do so you can get in on the conversation from South Carolina. And keep posted, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter and Facebook so you know what the timing is going to be, what time we're going to be on the air. We usually come on about a half an hour before or an hour before Bernie's supposed to stream, or the event is supposed to start. So you can join us then. We got about 160 folks watching. That's great. Great, we have Shameful63. He's ready to report from South Carolina. He or she. Awesome. Get on the Google Plus account. I know. But that's the way we do it. It's the easiest way. Just start a separate Google account if you want, but get a Google Plus account specifically for reporting, and we'll bring you into a hangout, and you can have it on your phone, you can have it on your iPad, and with just a little bit of training on how we do it here on this all-volunteer network. There's probably I'd say there's probably close to 500 people since we've been 6 weeks old now that want to get involved. And really our biggest problem at the moment is trying to plug everybody in to doing what they want to do and what can do. But we are definitely lacking in the reporter area. So Shameful63, driving across country and to help the campaign in the South for Bernie. That's awesome. That is awesome. We need more of you guys. And I was going to go to Nevada, but we're not sure what kind of a stream we're going to be able to get, and pulling things together so quickly. So we're getting ready for South Carolina, and the next event's coming down, so we have a little more advance notice. And if you hear about an event coming to your town and you want to help out, join us on the Google Plus account.
Yeah, on that note, I was just going to add that if Bernie hasn't come to your town yet, or maybe he came and went, it's still you still have an opportunity to get on board, and the sooner you get on, the better we'll be able to get you organized, and the more we'll be able to have the communication necessary to make sure that when he does come to your town, that we're able to get you live and get your reporting on air.
Absolutely, and that we were talking about, John and I were talking about that. Burbank for Bernie founder John McPhee, he was talking about how the event tracker, the event app on the website for Bernie is really great. And we're about to lose our oligarchy again, which is always good. I got to find a better way to do that. But yeah, the event tracker on the official site. Oh, that's John's sign. He's an artist. But yeah, go to that site. You can find out where your events are near you. And and you can RSVP, and they have an idea of if they have to get a bigger boat, because they always have to get a bigger boat. And I want to push what we're trying to do on the 17th or thereabouts in October. It'll be after the first debate, but there's a movement to try to get 100,000 people, Bernie supporters, on the mall in Washington. And there's not an official date yet. I think they're shooting for that weekend if they can get 100,000 RSVPs. I think it's up to about 67,000 right now. And I am really going to try to be out there. I'm moving I'm going to try to figure out my schedule to make sure I can, because we are going to be broadcasting for the debate, the first debate. I can't believe it's only the first debate. And I just want to I want to say something. I found out New York is apparently close to the registration deadline for the primaries. I think, is that true, Richard? Have you heard that?
Yes, I have heard that also, and yeah, so our New York voters definitely need to get registered and remind their friends, remind their family to get registered.
Right.
I believe it's closed also, so they'll need to register as a Democrat. Whether you consider yourself one or not, in order to participate, those are the rules. So
I think you could probably change back for the general, but if the only way Bernie is going to get in, and so I think we have some Republicans watching the show tonight that are looking for a sane candidate. So yeah, I don't know if you're willing to do that or not. I did once, but if you can register as a Democrat in New York and do it quickly because it's coming up, and that is of course Hillary Clinton's stronghold, but of course we are having some of the largest meetings. The campaign is having some of the largest meetings in New York and on the West Coast for Bernie Sanders. So you guys got to make sure, and I'm sure they're on it. I'm sure the groups in New York are on it, but make sure you can register, you get registered, and you're ready to vote in the primary in New York. So we're gonna look for some. If you want to ask a question, throw it up there. We'll put it in live production and we'll address it. We've got some more videos on board. I think we can share with you guys if that's okay. We've got some. They've been pretty cool, the videos. We like to get a lot of people are working really hard to put together media and write songs and edit videos together. And I've been spurred to do it, breaking out my editing chops again to try to make videos for Bernie. So we've got some more. Maybe we can show. Yeah, who's the kid for Bernie? We want to hire him. We have a new. He's going to be my co-anchor. We need more co-hosts here too. So he's playing. Is it playing? That was just okay. I think it's ready. It's queued up. So yeah, we need more co-hosts here, and I think we're going to hire this kid because he's a natural. So let's watch this 12-year-old tell us why Bernie Sanders should be president.
Boy, and I'm here to tell you how awesome Bernie Sanders is. And in case you don't know, Bernie Sanders is running for president in the 2016 presidential campaign. One of the reasons why Bernie Sanders is so awesome is because when he becomes president, he's going to fix one of the biggest problems we face in America today. It's called big money in politics. And that's where big, rich companies give a bunch of money to politicians they like so that it's more likely that that politician gets elected. But it's not that simple. In exchange, that politician, once they're elected, has to do something for that company that gave them money. Big money in politics hurts us because whoever gets elected, the choices they make as president will only be for the company that they got money from, not for the people of America, and they won't be doing what's right for the country. And when Bernie Sanders becomes president, he's going to change it so that politicians do what's right for everyone, not just rich people and big companies. And that's why I'm going to vote for Bernie Sanders. Oh, but I can't vote for Bernie Sanders because I'm only 12. Ah! So that's why you need to vote for Bernie Sanders. And you also need to vote for Bernie Sanders just because he's awesome. And he's going to do what's best for this country, and he's going to make it a better place to live for everyone. This is Bernie Boy, hoping you'll join us for our next video, where we're going to talk even more about Bernie Sanders' awesomeness. See you next time.
A Clyde Brothers production starring Bernie Boy. Hashtag Bernie Boy. Awesome. Yeah, he's one of the 99. We need to get him on the station, right, Richard?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got to talk to him live. And we got a lot of folks. It's great. We're seeing a lot of folks on the YouTube channel that are, I want to help. How do I do it? I want to get in the Hangout. I can't get in. Yeah, that's awesome. That's exactly what we want to do. We want you guys in the Hangouts too. So if you can do that and you can bring us, that's really ideal. John's like, send them to Hangout. That's really the ideal way to get on. And if you can get a signal, folks, bring it in when we'll get it on here. So there's a lot of enthusiasm, and we really appreciate that. And we're glad you're getting involved. And it's really all about our democracy, kids, and our republic. This is the last chance train. We were talking about that for the millennials. You know, this is you need to get excited about this because there's a lot of stuff happening around the world with TPP and Keystone XL that are just it's game over for a lot of us, the environment and the economy. So just continues. The giant sucking sound, as they used to call it. And we're getting a question about one of the questions are coming through about Gore and Biden. Will Al Gore get in? Will Biden get in? That's the conversation now because Hillary is just being eaten up by this email, the drip, drip, drip of the email scandal. You know, they're claiming the DNC and the Hillary camp is claiming that it's strictly a political attack, a witch hunt, political witch hunt by the Republicans, a la Whitewater, which of course turned out to be nothing, and all we got out of that was Monica Lewinsky, which was was great. And so you know, maybe there is nothing there, but it's certainly it's not what it's all about. This is of her own doing, and as far as I can see. And yeah, of course they're gonna latch onto it in a political aspect. But because of this now, she's dropping in her numbers, and of course our guy Bernie, as soon as people learn from who he is and what his message is, they're jumping ship and they're coming over, and people that have been disaffected are getting on board, and so the numbers are converging. If you just keep watching the polls, Hillary's got nowhere to go but down, and I think they're starting to panic in the DNC and the DLC and all the Ds, and are just starting to freak out. So they're going to this anything but Bernie. You know, they're calling Al Gore back. I mean, the guy's like, really? Do you want me to grow another beard? Because I will grow another beard. I mean, granted, he won the last time he ran. I understand that, but I don't, you know, and I think that really it's too late. If Biden doesn't get in now, or by the end of this month, there's not going to be any money. So, and now they're saying maybe he's going to be 60-40, is what they're saying is that his people, it's maybe 60-40 he will. Gore, I don't think really is looking at all. I think that's just a creation of the media to get people talking about it and talking about something other than actual issues, like Bernie says. You know. Yeah,
I think it's an attempt to try and get some of the pollsters to add some more names to the polls or do anything they can to get some free information about what are the chances of people moving away from Hillary towards a Gore, towards another candidate.
Testing the water, as it were, throwing shit up on the wall to see if it sticks.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd like him, maybe if he's going to do it, maybe he should do it right away, and then maybe Debbie Wasserman Schultz will add another, a couple more debates, because there were 26 last time when Obama was running, 26 debates with that huge field. I understand there's only 4 candidates running for the Democratic nomination. There might be more, actually, I don't know, but 4 of any consequence, I suppose. But it's just ridiculous. 6 debates, and with New York, the registration closed primary. It's bad news all around, and it looks like the Democrats are acting like the Republicans as far as voting goes and getting information out to the electorate. So I think you're going to watch the media keep talking until they finally just say no, or no, I'm not doing it, and then they're going to have to find something else. They're going to have to find something else, or they're going to have to pay attention to Bernie, because by then we should be having some polls. I don't think we've had any, and if we have, put the links up in the YouTube chat and let us know. But I don't think there's been any polls other than Republican since Iowa has been happening. So I'd like to see, we're looking forward to see what the next official poll in Iowa says, and I think that we're going to have a better understanding of what this weekend really meant, even though the mainstream media doesn't want to talk about it. And I don't know about, we're here broadcasting right now, so I don't know if any of the afternoon shows are talking about Bernie in Iowa. I suppose Rachel will probably mention something tonight, so we'll see. Hopefully, I don't know, they're going to keep Rachel around for a little while longer. We'll see. They got rid of Ed. And a handful of other of the liberal opinions on the so-called liberal media. Corporate media, it's all the same, folks. There is no such thing as liberal or conservative media other than they like those two sides. You know, the Jon Stewart. I saw the old Jon Stewart. I miss him. The old Jon Stewart. One of the best interviews he ever did when he was on Crossfire. Find that on YouTube. It's really great. He really puts him in his place, and that's what it's all about. They just want that. They want that conversation. They don't want a conversation. They want an argument. So we're going to try to talk about the issues. He welcomed Biden. You know, at the end, Chuck Todd tried to bring that to the head, and he said, you know, you guys tell me if it's good or bad. I'm not going to worry about that, but we're going to talk about the issues if he gets in. So he's going to stick with it. We've got a video lined up. Lil B, we saw that at the earlier. We saw a clip, part of a clip, until the Viacom robot shut us down. Because you know we're trying to bring you information, and we're purely fair use as far as we're concerned. But Lil B has now endorsed Bernie Sanders, or at least he's switched. He was a Hillary supporter. So we have a video of him on MSNBC. He was on CNN before. Is this from today, guys? I don't know. Let's talk about. Let's put it up, and we'll talk about it on the back end.
Welcome back. Bernie Sanders is making no apologies to Black Lives Matter protesters. On Saturday, BuzzFeed obtained an email from a Sanders campaign staffer to Black Lives Matter leaders that read in part, "I apologize it took our campaign so long to officially reach out." On Sunday, Sanders clarified his position on the apology.
You said a staffer put it out, but you felt an apology was necessary?
No, I don't. I think we're going to be working with all groups. This was sent out without my knowledge.
Senator Sanders also stressed the importance of the Black Lives Matter movement.
And this issue of Black Lives Matter, let me be very clear. The issue that they are raising is a very, very important issue. And there is no candidate for president who will be stronger in fighting against institutional racism and, by the way, reforming a broken criminal justice system. Chuck, we have more people in jail in the United States of America than any other country on earth. And we need real changes. We need to do away with the militarization of local police departments. We need to do away with minimum sentencing. We need education and jobs for our young people rather than jails and incarceration.
Black Lives Matter protesters have been causing headaches for the Sanders campaign. Activists hijacked a campaign event in Seattle earlier this month. They threatened to shut down the rally if they weren't allowed to speak. Meanwhile, this doesn't seem to be hurting Sanders in the polls. A new Fox News poll shows Sanders climbing. Clinton is up on Sanders by 19 points. 2 weeks ago, the gap was 29 points, and a month ago, Clinton was leading by 40 points. For more, let me bring in James Peterson, an MSNBC contributor and director of Africana Studies at Lehigh University, and rapper Lil B, who is supporting Bernie Sanders for president. Brother Lil B, thank you so much for joining us here today, my friend.
Hey, Dr. Dyson, how are you doing? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend. So give us a sense of why you're supporting Senator Sanders over Hillary Clinton.
Well, you know, sir, just from coming from the Bay Area, you know, being around places like Oakland, where they have the divide, in East Oakland, where we need to raise minimum wage. There's a lot of poor people out there, but a lot of great people that need help. And, you know, that's why Black Lives do matter. It's a lot of different minorities, a lot of different people in general. So, I mean, Bernie Sanders wants to rebuild, heard he wants to rebuild bridges. And, you know, also fighting against the fossil fuels and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really down for that, you know, because I'm always down to conserve and save energy. I don't like these new plans where people are trying to build upon the land that's already there, tear down the land that was for the animals, because these are our people too, our brothers and sisters, regardless what anybody says.
Professor Peterson, listening to Lil B intelligently articulate his defense of Bernie Sanders suggests that there is more than age or more than gender or even race at stake here in the decisions, of, especially among African-American constituencies, to embrace either of these candidates. In light of what he just said, give us a sense of the difference between Sanders and Clinton when it comes to racial issues and their effect upon these communities.
Well, you know,
good question.
sir,
I mean, one, I just applaud
Go on, Professor.
One, I applaud anytime that young people are engaged, and Doc, you know this, I'm deeply invested in artists being leaders and artists using their platforms to make sure that young people engage social justice issues and political issues. You know, I would want for folks to not think that their only options are just Senator Sanders or former Secretary Clinton, that what Black Lives Matters means as a movement is that there's an opportunity right now to make sure that certain issues are on the national stage, that certain issues are on the national platform. What's interesting about what Little B's talking about and what Black Lives Matters is doing, you know, whether or not people vote for Sanders or vote for Clinton, there are going to be certain issues that are going to be on the table as a result of this movement and as a result of young people being engaged in the movement. So issues like climate change and climate issues will be on the table. Issues like criminal justice reform and reforming the mass incarceration policies that are capturing so many people across this nation right now. There are going to be a lot of issues that will be on the table as a result of people being engaged. And by the way, Doc, that's going to make both Clinton and Sanders better candidates.
No doubt. Lil B, is the Black Lives Matter movement being fair to Senator Sanders and pressing him so aggressively?
You know, I think the Black Lives Matter movement can go about it differently, you know, but at the end of the day, too, these are nonviolent protests, and these people have urgent feelings that they want to bring to the national, you know, to the people in the world. And speaking of the injustices in the judicial system and as well as like the jails, I would personally love to see cameras in the courtrooms. And because I feel like that's one of the last places there are a lot of injustices. And we need to see what's going on with these judges and inside the courtroom so we could understand better as a people. But with the Black Lives Matter of Bernie Sanders, I think he's handling it extremely classy. And, you know, just continue to learn with his brothers and sisters. We're all one, we're the same. We have problems that we all need to deal with. But I think it's about accepting them, not cringing when you hear about them, and having empathy. You know, we need a lot more empathy and need to understand that, hey, your problems are just as big as anybody else's, and protect transgender people and also homosexual and gay people, which is a big thing and that a lot of people aren't really fighting for. I wanted to definitely be the first to say that too, because a lot of transgender people are losing their lives, and that's something that people won't talk about either.
Professor Peterson, in light of Little B defending, I'm sure to the surprise of many, as a rapper and a hip-hop artist, transgender people, gay and lesbian people and the like, shows the cantankerous differences that obtain within black communities about the choices we make. So do you think the Black Lives Matter movement is being fair to Senator Sanders by shutting him down, not seeing whether or not if he's learned to integrate into his own vocabulary and his own speech the very lessons they want to teach him? What's your response?
Well, I feel like the Sanders camp should see this as an honor, Doc, and I know that sounds counterintuitive, but the whole idea that the Black Lives Matter movement seems to be focused on the Sanders campaign suggests to me that they're invested in it in a way that they're not invested in any other candidates. Like, a lot of folks are like, why don't they protest Donald Trump? They don't care about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not even close to having the capacity to represent the issues that the Black Lives Matter movement is trying to put on the table. They feel like Sanders is a little bit closer to, maybe not close enough, but a little bit closer to that, and so he becomes the smartest political target for them. And so I think it's a little bit of an honor, and I think they're starting to wear it that way, because as you saw from Twitter today, Senator Sanders and DeRay McKesson and other leaders from the Black Lives Matter movement have planned to sit down and talk policy and talk shop a little bit more directly. And so I think at the end of the day, what we've seen over the course of the last several weeks and several months with the Black Lives Matter movement and our political processes has been very energizing and I think very, very powerful. They're going to continue to push candidates. They're going to continue to assert themselves and assert certain discourse topics into the political public sphere. And I think all candidates and the entire presidential process is going to be better for that.
All right. I want to thank you so very much. We understand that this is somebody's born day. We thank you, Little B, for spending it this way. Just a little couplet for you in a bar for you. Happy birthday, too.
So that was Michael Eric Dyson with Little B, and talking about his support for Bernie Sanders and the classy response that that Bernie seems to have, and his interest in meeting with more and more civil rights groups. Richard Green, what do you weigh in on that? This is fresh. This is hot off the press, guys. Let's talk about that a little bit, Richard.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch a little bit. I think in that interview, there's a lot of good points made, and I think one thing that I see in chat and I see in other venues and social media is about how Black Lives Matter went about taking over the event. And I know a lot of people were either offended or like took it as a personal attack on Bernie and things like that. But I think what you can tell when you watch some of the longer videos, particularly from the women in Seattle, is that this is a very emotional topic for them. And while they may not be at their best as far as presenting their argument or discussing what they're doing, they are doing their best. They're doing the best that they can, and
they're doing what they have to do to stop people dying in the streets every 8 hours.
Exactly. And I mean, if we go all the way back to the Netroots protest, we know that what happened there, and we see some video from the event, so you can check out what's going on in there and know that you guys aren't missing anything. If we go back to the Netroots event, what we see is that the way he discusses his platform has changed. So whether we agree with it individually on how they went about it or not in either venue, we can't really deny that it's getting results. Now, whether how much of that was Sanders working on behind the scenes before it came out is just mostly rumor, but the main thing is that it probably pushed it forward in his agenda and in his mind, as coming from Vermont, where there's less than 10,000 black people in the whole state.
Right.
It's something that was probably naturally not at the front of his mind, as it's not a pressing issue in his local venue. But when he's going on a national platform, the Black Lives Matter provided an opportunity for him, and more importantly, for his supporters, to realize that this is a serious issue for people. And like, when they hear people talking about jobs or things like that, what they think about is, let's say, Sandra Bland, who was actually on the way back from an interview at the job before she was pulled over for not signaling and got yanked out because she refused a request, not a command, but a request not to put out her cigarette, and ends up dead in jail a few days later. The fact that they're just in jail is a problem, not to mention in Ferguson, just to bring that back a little bit, because it was recently up. They're still having issues where people are getting warrants for arrest for not properly maintaining their yards.
Yeah, it hasn't stopped at all in Ferguson. The corruption that has been called out by the DOJ, that it was happening. That we know it's happening, and it's still happening.
Yeah, and on the note of different approaches and different rates of success, one thing that has worked and is definitely a movement in progress that was just recently reported just a couple hours ago from the St. Louis newspaper was that Bernie Sanders has agreed to meet with D-Ray and whoever he brings with him as far as representing from Black Lives Matter to discuss some of the issues. And so those are the types of actions and things that are positive. And as far as Bernie supporters can go, like, I'm sure a lot of people had, I mean, if I was waiting for hours in the hot sun in Seattle to try and wait and see Bernie, I'd probably be a little upset too about him getting interrupted and not being able to speak to me. But what's most important for us as the progressive left in general, what I think is a key factor is that if we can't discuss it in a way where we don't try to undermine the credibility of the protesters or try to question their motives or things like that, if we can focus on why it is they felt compelled to do what they did and what we can do in our circles to make it so that they don't have to feel that that compelling to get on stage to and interrupt Bernie. And what it is not by necessarily presenting Bernie's history or doing things like that, but maybe progressives that were upset at what happened to Black Lives Matter can go and demonstrate themselves what they would like to see Black Lives Matter doing by bringing Black Lives Matter issues up where and when they can in a way that shows solidarity rather than critiquing tactics. Because while there's going to be, we're going to have to build a big tent to get all the Bernie supporters in that's going to take to win a national election. And so there's going to be things that we disagree with each other on individually, whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's particular education proposals, whether it's this or that. And what we have to do is show solidarity and show that we do stand together, and that what's most important are the issues, not who brings them up or how they're brought up. And that's really what I'd like to see from Bernie supporters, is more of that. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, no, you're right. You're spot on, man. I agree with you, everything you said. And I see that, one of the criticisms is you're hurting your cause by doing what you did, by what your tactics were. Well, guess what? We're hurting our cause by reacting the way some of progressives and Truth to Tweet. And I had this conversation about what's with the labels. What's with the labels? Because I was yelling at progressives that we're progressive. We're not supposed to, don't make it about us. We're supposed to be making it about other people. And yes, we want to see Bernie. You're going to see Bernie. But we have to stand as allies and sometimes accomplices. And we stick to the message. And Bernie's the one that called them progressives. He came out and he said, "Thank you for being one of the most progressive cities in this country." And there's plenty of evidence out there, and Richard, you could probably back me up on this, that
Absolutely.
The progressive towns in the United States are some of the most racist places in the United States. I mean, you're not surprised when racist stuff happens in Georgia or in Mississippi, but there's a lot of people of color that will tell you that living in San Francisco or Berkeley ain't no picnic. So I don't know if that's been your experience up in the Pacific Northwest there, Rich, but
yeah, it's a different kind of of racism and oppression, in that it's further behind the scenes. Like if we go back to segregation and Jim Crow in the South, like it was more overt, and I mean before that slavery, obviously very overt racism, but as it's moved back in the South, it's still kind of up front, with the way that the Confederate flag raising and the Stone Mountain protests and those types of things that are still pretty overt. But in the more progressive areas, it's much more subvert. It's further beneath the surface, and sometimes, and I understand this, that some people don't realize what they're saying can be interpreted or is just outright racist in the way that they describe how they perceived an event. And that's something that is, it's easy, it's easy to say, I stand with them, I stand with their purpose, but, I really didn't like how I think they could have done better. And it's like, while that is sometimes a valid criticism, what I think it should be on the forefront of people's minds, and if you want to help Bernie and have Bernie get that, the response in the black communities that we all want and need in order for Bernie to be successful, is to relate to them in the way that they are comfortable or that they can accept. And if, as a progressive, it might not be how you perceive the issue, it might not be your particular position, but as a good ally and as a good progressive, I think it goes a long way when we do stand together and we appreciate other people's perspectives for what they are and understand the importance of the issue for them may be different than what it is for you or as an individual.
Right. That's right. And we all have our own issues, and we all want to we all think that we are, our issues are the most important to help the people, but everybody's got nobody sees the same rainbow, people, they don't exist, first of all. It's all in your head. But nobody sees the same one. There's a different perspective from everybody. And I think as progressive, like you say, liberal, I'm a liberal. I'll use that label. But we need to put ourselves in other people's shoes and not shoot our movement in the foot. I think that's crucial too. And Bernie has, everybody's saying in the chat, Bernie really has been classy about this and has handled it the right way. And I think he's doing that. They met, saying that DeRay actually tweeted Bernie Sanders, and he tweeted back, "Let's do it." And so that's the kind of response. And I think that's what moves politicians. That's what moves policy, is activism and getting in politicians' faces. And Bernie Sanders is targeted maybe because they knew they could make some headway, and he would embrace them and try to incorporate their message and bring them into his camp, like you say, a big tent.
And on that note, I was just going to say that one of the other reasons is Bernie Sanders is accessible. He goes to these big public venues where you can get to the stage, you can get to the mic. You're not going to get tackled by Secret Service like if you go to a Hillary rally. Or
and that was the tactic that they used with Hillary. They gave her notice. That's fine, whatever. Maybe they thought they were going to be able to get in, and maybe it was full, maybe they were late, but they did supposedly meet afterwards. So if that was their tactic, that's their tactic. And we can't it's a decentralized organization just like we are. And the activists, the way we can't be in their shoes. We just can't, and we just have to stand with them. And we're looking at the live stream, guys, from Chicago. Well, not the live stream. We have a Periscope that we're trying to show you, and we'll try to keep that up as much as we can. It's kind of a shaky video because it is Periscope, and of course it has to be vertical. I don't know why they don't fix that, but that's the crowd of people filing in, and we're hearing that it's probably maybe 1,000 people. You want me to read this? Okay, Rich, I'm going to read this whole thing live here. I'm going to read this. It's very important. Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders said on Monday he will meet with civil rights activist DeRay McKesson, who moved to St. Louis after gaining notoriety during the Ferguson protests, tweeted to Sanders on Monday saying that the first draft of the candidate's racial justice platform had promise. He asked if Sanders would be available to discuss it. Sanders responded, "Let's do it," and that's according to a St. Louis newspaper today. So that's good news. That's very good news.
Yeah, and on that note is I would say for people that want to help Bernie and to help with the Black Lives Matter thing, just try to keep in mind, what would Bernie do in this situation? Would Bernie be talking about
what would Bernie do? I thought about that the other day, and that's exactly right. What would Bernie do? How would he react?
Exactly, and so people think about that, and when they're typing something, even if they're upset, because we all get in moods, and maybe something else sets you off, and you're just venting somewhere else. Just think about it. Is this something that Bernie would post?
Right.
And if it's not, maybe just or share it with another friend or something. But try not to interact in that hostile mood.
Well, that was also a conversation. That is sort of the Twitterverse. It can be anonymous, and hey, I've posted some comments that when I'm heated up, and it can be words mean something, especially in this digital age, because they're out there and they're forever. So sometimes we have to take a second and step back, but we need to challenge each other. We need to challenge people and be aware of our privilege.
On that note, I got to give credit where credit's due. I've noticed that some liberals and progressives and such and Bernie supporters have been stepping up and trying to address those types of issues, and I've noticed that there has been a significant decrease in the Bernie supporters that are spamming particular black outlets with information like about he marched with Martin Luther King Jr.
Right.
Any black person that has any social presence is well aware of that fact by now, and so I would advise that we try to tone that down and talk. If you really want to get at it and you can't help yourself, go ahead and try and talk about what Bernie's doing right now.
Right now, that's right. Because it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same as it was then anyway. So you might as well do something that's relevant to these kids today and these young women, these strong young women that have had enough. And it's just, it's almost like a Lysistrata effect. It's like, this is it. We're not putting up with it anymore. Too many of our children and our loved ones are dying in the streets and being left there. And it's daily. It's daily. I see it coming across, and we all do. And so, anyway, he's meeting with the folks. He's meeting with everybody, the activists. He's meeting with all the groups. That's really, and I guess there was a sort of a kerfuffle over the non-apology apology, but I think that's reasonable for him to stand on his record in that, and also to say that no, we are reaching out to groups now. This is part of our agenda. We do want to talk to people, and that article obviously says that much, and he's definitely willing to make the adjustments, and I think that's part of the reason why he is a target. Donald Trump's not going to change his position. He's going to punch him in the face. So.
Yeah, he said as much, basically.
He said as much. He's going to punch him in the face and bomb Iran. That's the two things. And kick out all the immigrants and their families that are already and their children that are already citizens. So yeah, good plan. We're watching a Periscope feed from Ryan Smith. He's one of the 99 out there in Chicago, with the place filling up. He's been sort of panning the crowd and looking at the looks like we're starting to get some people, maybe some intros. I don't know if we have a stream for that yet, if we're gonna be able to pick that. I know we're looking for one, guys. If we can find the stream, we're gonna bring it up. But it looks like introductions might be happening. It is about the top of the hour. It was supposed to start at 5:30, and of course, we're hearing 1,000 people, coming in. But if we do have a stream and there's people coming up to intro, we'd like to bring you that noise, a little maybe even background noise, just for our chat if it's just crowd noise. Yeah, we know folks out here want to see what's really happening. If we've got it, bring it in. If not, we'll just keep chatting. We really thank you guys for watching and joining in on the Google Plus account. And we're gonna have lots of folks that want to help us out in South Carolina now coming in, and we can cut to the stream whenever. Great. Let's can we put it up on a let's go to the live feed if it's got sound and it sounds good. Let's do it, and I'll talk to you guys on the back end. Rich, thanks for joining me for this first hour. And we've got some interviews lined up for afterwards, folks. We've got an interview with some of the people involved with the hunger strike going on at Guyette High School in Chicago, who is trying to privatize the education. So, is this the Periscope stream we're hearing, Janine?
Designated media area.
Yep, that's
yes, this is the Periscope stream. Okay. And so this is the only stream we're getting, right?
Right now.
Right now. Okay. So we're still looking for an official one, but yeah, I mean, let's leave the sound up, and we can talk over a little bit. We can maybe answer some more questions if you've got questions. This is a closed fundraiser. That I don't know if maybe there won't be an official stream, so I suppose that's possible. I mean, this might be it. This might be the only information coming out. That ended up being what we had one of our other events. We ended up being the only stream because of technical issues, and we had a lot of folks watching. So the crowd seems, for a private fundraiser, they're pretty enthused. Let's listen.
Amen. I'm proud to be Latino. I'm proud to represent the northwest side of the city of Chicago as always. But most importantly, I'm proud to stand here today in support of the next President of the United States, Senator Bernie Sanders. Sisters and brothers, I was born in 1989. And my entire life I've been told that the only thing my working family deserved was a trickle. For 4 decades, we've been told that if we gave more of our wealth to the rich, eventually us regular Americans will get a few drops from the spigot in return. But what has trickle-down economics done for regular Americans? It's led to a drought in our communities. We see this drought when an impoverished neighborhood loses another son to gun violence. We see this drought when a senior citizen loses their home to foreclosure. We see this drought every time an American working 2, 3, 4, or more minimum wage jobs can't make rent or afford a trip to the doctor. Sisters and brothers, the field of American opportunity is drying up and becoming barren. And it will not be irrigated or reinvigorated by the tears of a mother who has lost her son to gun violence or the tears of an American family facing eviction or joblessness. Sisters and brothers, to save the American dream and grow the American middle class, we need a flood. Now, I don't mean the type of flood that certain Chicago Tribune writers wish upon our city. No, don't get me wrong. I want none of that. Ouch. I mean a flood of resources to our communities. Because we're done with the trickle. We want, in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, for justice to come down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. Are you with me? For 4 decades, Senator Bernie Sanders has been a mighty stream in American politics, fighting for a rising tide that will lift all boats, fighting for the American middle class, and fighting to save the American dream. And so in this time of record inequality, of corporate handouts and corporate tax loopholes, we need a President Sanders. We need a president who will unequivocally prioritize our neighborhoods, our communities, and our working families. Sisters and brothers, do you feel the burn? Do you feel the burn? Are we going to flood the streets with a grassroots movement to elect a president of, by, and for the people? And let's get out there and win this election, elect the Senator Sanders, and save the American dream. It's now my pleasure to introduce Robert Peters, a leader with National People's Action and an organizer with Chicago's own The People's Lobby. Thank you.
Hey everyone. My name is Robert Peters. I was born and raised here in Chicago. I'm a proud Southsider. That's right, go Sox! I'm also a leader with NPA and an organizer with the People's Lobby. Why am I here? I'm here because I used to work in a world of politics as usual. A world where big money gave way to big profits for big corporations. This is the world we live in, but it doesn't need to be. We can live in a world with a government that gives back to everyone, that gives power to the people. I want to see more jobs, better health care, better energy policies, a criminal justice system that doesn't target me because I'm black.
Yeah, he looks really young.
We must leave the old politics and build a movement. That movement desperately needs candidates that truly represent us. And that is why I'm here today to support Bernie Sanders for the next president of the United States. Bernie Sanders believes in the promise of change, not just as a campaign slogan, but as an actual platform with actual policy. He has been doing this not because of polling, but because it is right. I left politics as usual because I believe we are in a transformational era. And that era starts with a presidential candidate that doesn't answer to billionaires like Bruce Rauner, but to us, the people. At NPA, we are working on making structural change. Not change for now, but for the next 40 years. Change that, like Bernie, is driven by us, the people. So I say this. I am proud to announce, as an organizer with the People's Lobby, that we endorse Bernie Sanders for President of the United States. In 2015, we organized 9,000 volunteer hours, which you can count on and then some to win the 2016 primary, because this is our revolution. This is our presidential campaign. This is our time. In 2016, we stand up and we march on. Now, I'm proud to introduce a champion for educators and working families, not just in her ward, but all of Chicago. Please welcome Progressive Alderwoman of the 10th Ward, Susan Sedlowski-Garza.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. My name is Susan Sedlowski-Garza. I am the first woman ever to be elected in the 10th Ward and the first member of the Chicago Teachers Union to sit on City Council. Are you ready to feel the burn? Are you excited? I know I am. My message is simple. I believe in Bernie Sanders He values and operates on people-powered politics. Last spring, when Senator Bernie Sanders stood together with 10th Ward activists and neighbors during our historic aldermanic victory, as a people-powered campaign, we defeated a 16-year incumbent alderman. People-powered politics. When residents of the 10th Ward took on the corporate polluters and their political puppets, Bernie Sanders was there, providing the moral guidance and a boost in energy needed to take on a Koch brothers-sponsored alderman. Senator Sanders joined our cause, inspiring activists and volunteers to cross the finish line to victory on April 7th. And for that, the people in the 10th Ward are eternally grateful. People-powered politics. Senator Bernie Sanders' message affirmed the importance of building a real political movement to take on the billionaire class. A true political movement starts with people. It's centered around people and works for the people. During my 10th Ward aldermanic campaign, we were outspent 3-1. And I suspect Bernie will be outspent during his campaign as well. But money doesn't always win, brothers and sisters. The billionaire class will try to buy this election and drown out the voice of the working class. Well, you know what? Money didn't win in the 10th Ward, a people power campaign did, and I don't think it's going to win this time with Bernie's campaign either. We will not be outworked because our values cannot be bought by the billionaire class. People-powered politics. Now, brothers and sisters, work together and elect Bernie Sanders as the next president of the United States of America. Senator, tonight we are all here to say thank you. Thank you, Senator Sanders. And on behalf of 3 generations of the Sadlowski-Garza family, we unanimously support your candidacy for the President of the United States. And we are committed to advance your platform for restoring democracy to the people. Let's all stand for people-powered politics. Tonight, I have the pleasure of introducing a gentleman who has always stood for the working class. Much like Bernie Sanders, Chewy has always centered his political career around people, not corporations. Currently, our political system allows for super PACs to buy elected officials to push their corporate agenda. I stand here with Chewy Garcia and all of you to say enough is enough. Chewy has always been the people's champion in Chicago, and I'm very proud to introduce Jesus Chewy Garcia.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I gotta tell you, I've been to several Democratic conventions in my young lifetime, but this is the one that's getting me more excited than ever before. And I want to go to that convention because I want to fight for the best platform possible that will truly transform America. That's what our country needs. And in politics today in our country, there is one person who is speaking truth to power. One person who understands that the biggest problem that our country faces is the growing inequality between the rich and everyone else in our country. That's got to change. So tonight, muy buenas noches. It gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce to you someone who, in my estimation, is a true American hero. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders has, for over 30 years, been the nation's most persistent voice defending the interests of the working class and standing up to the corporate greed. No one in the nation over the past 30 years has focused more attention on the critically important, yet rarely discussed issue of the growing gap between the rich and all of us than Bernie Sanders. We need Bernie now more than ever. Whether you want to get big money out of politics, combat climate change, make college affordable, we don't want indebtedness, stop mass incarceration, or fight for real comprehensive reform, Bernie speaks for us all. And you know it. We need someone who's not afraid to take on Wall Street or the billionaires. We need someone who's not for sale. And Bernie Sanders is that someone. And fellow Chicagoans, whether you live in New York or LA, he understands the plight of cities everywhere and the need to revitalize America's cities. Brothers and sisters, his message is clear, and this country belongs to all of us. We know he's right. That is why we're all here tonight. The hope, the belief that we deserve a better America, an America that works for us and not the 1% only, right? It is indeed a great honor to introduce to you the man who dedicates every single working hour to standing up for us, working people of America and the middle class. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big Chicagoland and Illinois welcome to the next President of the United States, U.S. Senator.
Thank you. Wow, what a crowd. Thank you all very much. Let me thank Carlos and Robert and Susan and Chewy for their fantastic introductions. Problem is, I have nothing more to say. They've said it all. The truth is, it is a real honor for Jane and me to be with you this evening, because this is not just an ordinary group of supporters. In this room, we have people who have been fighting their entire lives for workers' rights and to grow the trade union movement. People who have been fighting for civil rights and racial justice and to reform our criminal justice system. People who have been fighting to end sexism and for women's rights. People who have been fighting for immigration reform. Brothers and sisters who have been fighting for gay and lesbian rights. People who have been dedicating their lives fighting to save the planet against climate change. So thank you all Thank you all, not just for being here tonight, but thank you all for your years of effort in fighting for social justice, for economic sanity, and for a country that belongs to all of us and not just a handful of billionaires. We began this campaign about 3.5 months ago. And when we began, people said, well, you know, it's interesting, but obviously this is not a serious campaign. Can you imagine a serious campaign when the candidate is talking about taking on the billionaire class? Oh my goodness. That can't be a serious campaign. Well, a few things have happened in the last few months. Just last week, we were on the West Coast. We had 15,000 people out in Seattle. 28,000 people out in Portland, Oregon, and 27,000 people out in Los Angeles. And we just drove in today from Iowa, where we have time and again had the largest turnouts of any campaign. And as you may know, there is at least one poll which now has us winning in New Hampshire. But it's not just large turnouts that speak to the support for what together we are trying to do. As I think some of the people who introduced me have pointed out, we are seeing in America today a campaign finance system which is corrupt. And Susan mentioned, at the end of the day, money doesn't always win. I am one of the few candidates for president who does not have a super PAC. And the reason that I don't have a super PAC is I don't believe in the agenda of corporate America. I don't believe in the agenda of the billionaire class, and I don't want their money. But what we are showing is that millions of people agree with us, and today we have more individual contributors than any other campaign. And here's what moves me very much. We have now over 350,000 people who have made a contribution. And do you know what the average contribution is? $31.20. This is a people's campaign. And we will win because millions of people are prepared to come together and say that in this great nation, we are not going to have a government controlled by a handful of the wealthiest people in this country. The American people are sick and tired with establishment politics. They are sick and tired of establishment economics and establishment media. The people of this country, all across this country, understand that corporate greed is destroying our economy and that it is unacceptable and un-American that almost all new income and wealth is going to the top 1%, and together we are going to change that. As Chewy just mentioned, we live, and thank you, Chewy, for running that great campaign. As Chewy just mentioned, we live in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. But very few Americans know that, because almost all of that wealth and almost all of that income is going to the top 1%. Today in America, if you can believe it, the top 1/10 of 1%, not 1%, the top 1/10 of 1% owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. Today in America, one family, the Walton family of Walmart, owns more wealth than the bottom 40% of the American people. In the last 2 years, the 14 wealthiest people in this country have seen their wealth increase by $156 billion. That is more wealth than is owned entirely by the bottom 130 million Americans. We are living in an economy which is rigged. The very rich get richer and almost everybody else gets poorer. We need an economy that works for working families and not just for the rich. This campaign is sending a very clear message to the billionaire class, and that is, you cannot have it all. We are not going to allow you to get huge tax breaks when children in America go hungry. We are not going to allow you to hide billions in profits in the Cayman Islands and other tax havens when we have so many unmet needs in America. Corporate CEOs and billionaires, listen up. You are going to start paying your fair share of taxes. You are not going to continue to send our jobs to low-wage countries abroad, exploit poor people around the world, and throw American workers out of their jobs. We are going to change our trade policy. One of the fun things about running for president, there are a few, but one of them is you can force discussion on issues which Congress and politicians and media choose to ignore. And one of those issues is the issue of unemployment. Every month, federal government issues a report which talks about official unemployment, which is now 5.3%. There is another report which includes those people who have given up looking for work and those millions of Americans who are working part-time when they want to work full-time. And when you add that together, real unemployment is 10.3%. And let me tell you something even more frightening, which we never talk about. I asked the Economic Policy Institute to do a study for me on youth unemployment, real youth unemployment. Kids 17 to 20 who graduated high school. This is what they found. For those kids who are white, real unemployment, 33%. For those kids who are Hispanic, real unemployment, 36%. For those kids who are African American, real unemployment, 51%. You know, we have more people in jail than any other country on earth. And one of the reasons is that we got 5.5 million young people from my state of Vermont to Chicago to San Francisco, kids who are not in school, kids who are not working. In my view, it makes a hell of a lot more sense to be investing in jobs and education than jail and incarceration. We are going to end this horrendous distinction of having more people in jail, and instead we're going to work to create the best educated population on earth. Brothers and sisters, when we talk about the economy, we're talking not only about this grotesque level of income and wealth inequality, we're not only talking about this horrendous level of youth unemployment. What we are also talking about is that in my small state of Vermont and here in Illinois, there are millions of people all over this country who are working not one job, they're working 2 jobs, they're working 3 jobs in order to bring in enough income to feed their families and maybe get some health care. And the reason people are working such long hours is that wages in America are much too low. So let me be very clear in telling you that I believe a $7.25 minimum wage today is a starvation wage. It's got to be raised to a living wage. And that is why I believe we have got to have a national minimum wage of $15 an hour. It is not a radical idea to say that if somebody works 40 hours a week, that person should not be living in poverty. And by the way, you will notice how rarely politicians or the media talks about poverty, talks about the struggles of 45 million Americans today trying to survive, trying to put food on the table, trying to put gas in the car in order to get to work, trying to pay the electric bills. We are going to talk about poverty, and we are going to address the issue of poverty. And when we talk about fair wages, let's also understand there is no excuse for women making 78 cents on the dollar compared to men. Guys, we have got to stand with the women and fight for pay equity. You know, Republicans go around the country talking about family values. If you haven't talked to neighbors, they stay up nights worrying about families. But you know, and I know what they mean by family values. What they mean is that women in America should not be able to control their own bodies. I disagree. What they mean is that women in America should not be able to purchase the contraceptives they need. I disagree. What they mean by family values is that our gay brothers and sisters should not be able to get married or enjoy the other benefits of American life. I disagree. I have 4 kids. I have 7 beautiful grandchildren. Jane and I have been married for over 27 years. Somehow we accomplished that. I don't know how. We believe in family, and we believe in strong family values, but our values just a little bit different than Republican values. And when I talk about family values, I believe that the United States has got to end the international embarrassment of being the only major country on earth that does not provide family and medical leave for our people. Today in Chicago, today in Vermont, today in LA, a woman is giving birth. And for all of you who are parents, you know what an extraordinary day that is. It's one of the momentous days of your life. You're never going to forget it. It's a pretty big day for the baby as well. But here's the story. If that woman and that family have sufficient income, she can stay home and do what family should do. She can stay home, get to know a baby, bond with the baby, love the baby, enjoy one of the most important experiences that human beings can have. That's called the family value. But today in Chicago and Vermont and all over our country, if that woman does not have sufficient income, if she's low income, a working class woman, she will have to be separated from her baby and go to work, go back to work in 5 days, 8 days, 10 days. That is not a family value. And that is why I believe that the United States has got to join the rest of the industrialized world and have at least 3 months of paid family and medical leave. And on top of that, we will not and cannot continue to be the only major country on earth that doesn't provide paid sick leave to all of our workers. And given the fact that we work, people in America work longer hours than do the people of any other major country, major economy on earth, every worker should be guaranteed at least 2 weeks. Infrastructure of the United States of America, which once, by the way, was the envy of the world in terms of our roads, bridges, water systems, wastewater plants, rail, airports, levees, dams, all over the world. People came to America to find out how you do it. But today, our infrastructure is crumbling. That's the simple truth. And that is why I have introduced legislation and will make happen as president $1 trillion to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure and create up to 13 million decent paid jobs. Think of what America looks like. We're all over this country. Millions of people are hard at work, rebuilding our roads and bridges, creating the best rail system in the world. Okay? And that's what we've got to fight for. But when we talk about jobs, it is not only the need to create millions of decent paying jobs, we must stop the hemorrhaging of jobs due to our disastrous trade policies. You are looking at a senator and former congressman who voted against NAFTA, against NAFTA. I am going to help lead the effort against this disastrous Trans-Pacific Partnership. Corporate America cannot continue to shut down manufacturing plants in Illinois, Vermont, and all over this country, send those jobs abroad, then bring their products back into this country. Corporate America is going to have to start investing in Illinois and Vermont and America. Brothers and sisters, when we look and use words like greed, fraud, dishonesty, arrogance, these are just a few of the adjectives to describe Wall Street. All of you know that the greed, the recklessness, and the illegal behavior of Wall Street drove this country into the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. Millions of people all over America lost their jobs, lost their housing, lost their life savings. Now I find it very interesting that some kid who gets picked up for smoking marijuana can have an arrest record, but the crooks who destroy our economy don't. That's our time. 7 years ago, the middle class of this country bailed out Wall Street because the banks were too big to fail. Yet today, interestingly, 3 out of the 4 largest financial institutions are 80% bigger than before we bailed them out because they were too big to fail. The big banks issue 2/3 of all credit cards and 35% of all mortgages. In my view, if a financial institution is too big to fail, it's too big to exist. Break them up! We need a financial system which provides affordable loans to small and medium-sized businesses so we can create jobs in America. Brothers and sisters, let me be as blunt as I can in telling you, I haven't been blunt enough, but in telling you what you already know. And the issue that people very often ask me, they say, well, Bernie, what is the most important issue? And it's hard to say because all of these issues are so enormously significant. But there is one issue which impacts every other issue. And that is a result of the disastrous Supreme Court decision in the Citizens United case. A decision rendered by a 5-4 vote. As a result of that decision, the American political system, and I use these words advisedly, has been totally corrupted, and the foundations of American democracy are being undermined. What the Supreme Court said in this 5-4 decision, it said to the wealthiest people in America, okay guys, you already own much of the American economy. We're now going to give you the opportunity to purchase the United States government and state legislatures. And that is precisely what they are trying to do. Just think for a moment what in virtually every case, super PACs run by millionaires and billionaires will have more money into this campaign than the candidates' own fundraising capabilities, which means that their campaigns will be dominated by billionaires and millionaires. Think for a moment, and I want you to think hard about this, what it means in an American democracy, in a democracy where people have fought and died to preserve the right of everybody to participate. You have one family today, the Koch brothers, an extreme right-wing family. This is a family who was on record in wanting to destroy, not cut Social Security, not cut Medicare, not cut Medicaid, but end Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the EPA. They are not opposed, just opposed to raising the minimum wage. They want to abolish the concept of the minimum wage so workers in America can work for $3 or $4 an hour. This one family will be spending in this election cycle at least $900 million. That is more money than either the Democratic Party or the Republican Party will be spending. When you have one family, second wealthiest family in America, spending more money than either of the two major political parties, brothers and sisters, this is not democracy, this is oligarchy. And let me be very clear that any nominee of mine to the United States Supreme Court will have to say loud and clear that he or she will make their first order of business overturning this disastrous Supreme Court decision. And furthermore, we've got to go further than that. What we need to establish, I want this country to have the most vibrant democracy in the world. That means I want us to have one of the highest voter turnouts, not one of the lowest. I want a situation where anybody in America, progressive, conservative, moderate, somebody who has some ideas they want to get out, somebody who wants to serve in public life, I want them to be able to run for office without having to beg billionaires for money. That is why I will fight for public funding of elections. A few weeks ago, I was at an event with Martin Luther King III and people in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act. And all of you know what that act was about, signed by Lyndon Johnson. And what it was about is after Selma, when we saw people nearly killed and beaten, if the millions of people stood up to demand equal rights for everybody in America, regardless of the color of their skin, the Voting Rights Act was signed, which says that everybody in America is going to participate in the political process. Doesn't matter who you are or what the color of your skin is. But you all know that just a couple of years ago, Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act. And literally, hours after that Voting Rights Act was gutted, you had Republican governors and state legislatures moving aggressively to suppress the vote. Now, apparently, these politicians don't believe that their ideas resonate with their constituents. They don't believe that they can win a fair election. They are political cowards. If you don't believe that your ideas can win an election, don't run for office. Don't come up with bogus, phony reasons to deny people of color, low-income people, elderly people the right to vote. And a few weeks ago, I introduced legislation which we will implement. And that is that everybody in America 18 is registered to vote and make a second. Brothers and sisters, you all know that we live in a highly competitive global economy and that we need the best educated workforce in the world. To my mind, it is beyond comprehension, it really is, that today we have hundreds of thousands of bright, energetic, capable young people who want a higher education. They want to be doctors and scientists and engineers and teachers. They want to serve. They want to grow intellectually as much as they can, but they cannot get a college education for one reason, and that reason is their family doesn't have enough money. That's crazy. It is unfair to them. It is unfair to the future of America. And that is why I have introduced legislation which will become law when I am president, which will make every public college and university in America tuition free. Now, this is important, obviously, not just the kids who are going to high school who are having trouble paying for college. It's very important to them, but this is how revolutionary that concept is. Right now in Chicago, there are kids in the 4th and 5th grade whose mom or dad never went to college, which was my situation as well. My parents never went to college. These kids may not know anybody who went to college. And for these kids, the idea of someday going to college is a dream millions of miles away. But if those kids know today, in the 4th grade, in the 6th grade, that if they study hard, if they take school seriously, if they know that they do their work well, they will be able to get a higher education regardless of the income of their families. And that is pretty revolutionary, because it gives kids something to work for. But the other aspect, the other part of the financing of higher education, which we must address, is the absurdity of millions of young and not so young people in our country saddled with outrageous levels of student debt. And some of them are here tonight. We have millions of people who are paying off $50,000 in debt, paying off $100,000. I talked to this young man. I talked to a young doctor in Vermont, paying off $300,000. Dentist in Iowa, $400,000. People are paying 15, 20, 25% of their limited incomes paying off student debt. Now here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part of that. There are people with student debt who are paying 6, 8, 10% interest rates, but you can refinance your home today at 2, 3, 4%. So what our legislation does is say you will be able to refinance at the lowest interest rates you can find. And what it also says is that we're going to get the United States government out of the business of profiteering on student debt. Well, some of my critics, of which there are a few, have said, yeah, Bernie, you know, that's an interesting idea. It's nice, it's pie in the sky, but how are you going to pay for it? Well, let me tell you how we are going to pay for it. We're going to pay for it through a tax on Wall Street speculation. When Wall Street collapsed, the middle class of this country bailed them out. Now it is their time to help the middle class of this country. Today, the United States of America remains the only major country on earth, major industrialized country, that does not guarantee health care to all people as a right. Jane and I live 100 miles away from Canada. I have health care for all people. Go to Germany, health care for all people. Go to the UK, health care for all people. France, Scandinavia. Every major country on earth guarantees health care as a right for all people except the United States of America. Today, despite the gains of the Affordable Care Act, we continue to have 35 million people uninsured, and many of you are underinsured with high deductibles and high copays. Meanwhile, we end up spending almost twice as much as any other major country on healthcare. In my view, we have got to move toward a Medicare for all single payer program And when we do that, I mean, it's hard to imagine what it will mean for this country. Can you imagine people not hesitating to go to the doctor when they're sick? Not worrying about being bankrupt when they have to go to the hospital? Can you imagine what it means to workers who will say, you know what? I don't have to stay at this crappy job. I can leave it and I'll have health care. It will also be a significant boom for small and medium-sized businesses who can focus on their business rather than spending huge amounts of time trying to figure out how they provide health care to their workers. Now, I don't have to tell anybody in this room that over the last many decades, our country, we should be very proud of this, we have made huge progress, significant progress in becoming a less discriminatory society. In 2008, you know, if we were here 30 years ago and somebody said, well, you know, in 2008, some guy from Chicago with a funny sounding name would be elected president of the United States, who was African American, you would have said, people would have said, that's crazy, because America has a long history of racism, and we haven't advanced that far to elect a black guy to be president. It happened. And he was re-elected, and we should be proud of it. We have made real progress on women's rights and breaking down all of the barriers, and many of the barriers that prohibited women from getting the jobs they wanted. And we have broken down those barriers in politics as well. So we've made progress. Obviously, we have a long way to go. If we were sitting in this room 10 years ago, and somebody would have said, you know what, I think conservative states in America would be supportive of gay marriage, people would have thought you'd be crazy, but that's what's happened. So we should be proud of the progress that we have made, but we should also be very knowledgeable that we still have a long, long way to go. I know that I speak for every person in this room who is appalled and outraged by the shootings, by the killings of unarmed African Americans. I do not want to see, I know you do not want to see any more of those videos of a black woman being thrown out of her car, thrown to the ground, and then, her name is Sandra Bland. And then dies in jail 3 days later, and her crime was she didn't signal a right turn. You don't die in this country for not signaling the right turn. And if you're Samuel DeVos, you shouldn't get shot in the head for not having a license on the front of your car. So let me just tell you, somebody who has one of the strongest civil rights records in the United States Congress. Nobody will fight harder institutional racism in this country, and equally important, reform our broken criminal justice system. I was a mayor of Vermont for 8 years, and I worked very closely with the police department, and actually we kind of moved our department to where I think we should go as a nation, toward community policing. Because what we want is police officers to be part of the community, not to be seen as oppressors in the community. And I will tell you, as somebody who worked hard with our police department, being a cop today is not an easy job, and most cops try hard to do the right thing. But if a police officer breaks the law, like any other public official, that police officer must be held accountable. We need major reform in criminal justice, and one of the areas we're going to introduce legislation on very soon, and I will fight to implement if elected president, is private corporations should not be making money over the incarceration of people. We need to take a hard look at minimum sentencing laws. We need to take a hard look at the so-called war on drugs. Too many lives in this country have been destroyed because of people who have not committed a violent act. That's got to change. And for those people who are in jail, we have got to find a way for them to return to civil society. Common sense tells us that if somebody is let out of jail with no money, no job, no education, no housing, the likelihood is overwhelming that person will end up back in jail. That's crazy. That has got to change. And brothers and sisters, when we talk about bringing the people of our country together, black and white and Hispanic, gay and straight, man and woman, we also have to remember today there are 11 million undocumented people in this country. And many of these people are being exploited. And when undocumented workers are being exploited, every worker in America suffers because it's the race to the bottom. And that is why I believe that as soon as possible we need to provide legal rights to the undocumented. We need comprehensive immigration reform, and we need a path toward citizenship. I was in Phoenix, Arizona last month, and after the rally that we had, about a half a dozen young Hispanic kids came to meet with me. And tears were rolling down the eyes of these kids who were scared to death that they would be deported or their moms or dads would be deported. Our job is to bring families together, not divide them. Our campaign for president is different than the other campaigns, not just because we have clearly the most progressive vision, but more importantly, it is that I will tell you something tonight that no other candidate for president will tell you. And it's not a pleasant thing that I'm going to tell you, but it's the simple truth. And that is, given the balance of power in America today, given the power of Wall Street, of corporate America, of the Koch brothers, of the media owned by corporations. No president, not Bernie Sanders or anybody else, can do what has to be done to transform this country in a way that works for the middle class unless there is a political revolution. I am being as honest as I can with you. It doesn't make any sense for me to get elected president if we can't bring about the change that we need. And we cannot bring about the change that we need unless millions of people are actively involved in the political process, unless millions of people stand up and say enough is enough. Look, the truth is, you all know this, people who introduced me all made the point. People who own America have enormous power. Nothing today gets to the floor of Congress unless it has their stamp of approval. People in America want to raise the minimum wage. We don't hear that on Congress. People of America demand that the rich and corporations pay their fair share of taxes. What gets to the Republican Congress of more tax breaks for billionaires. The American people want to expand Social Security, Republicans ready. The American people want us to create more jobs, Republicans want us to cut jobs. The only way that we win is when we stand together. Now, they have the money, they have the power, they determine what you see on the TV and in the newspapers. But at the end of the day, there are a lot more of us than there are of them. And if we don't allow them to divide us up by race, by where we were born, by sexual orientation, by whether we're a man or a woman, when we stand together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. Thank you all very much.
The call for political revolution got a big cheer, as it always does, guys. Inside look to this private fundraiser of 1,000 people. We had the only live feed from this event, is my understanding. I don't know. Let's confirm that, because that's pretty cool. I wouldn't see. I don't know if I'd see a Periscope feed at a private fundraiser event. And what we mean by private fundraising event is this is. A little bit enthused. People paid about between I don't know, $25. And
50 was the 50. Minimum suggested donation. I'm not sure if it was required to get in or if it was suggested, but that was definitely the low, and then it only went up to 1,000, I believe.
Yeah, top donation, $1,000. But that's a lot of political influence there, you know, grand. So, pretty cool. Wow, they're very this looks like a great event. Very enthused crowd. Ryan Smith is bringing us this video, guys. This is a burner. One of the 99 volunteered to bring this to you. This is apparently, we're going to confirm this, but I think this is the only feed. This is the only live coverage of Bernie Sanders at this event. This is a private fundraising event. No official feed as far as we know. We sure look for it. And it's Ryan Smith. I hope he comes on and talks to us, because at some point, maybe later, he's a writer in the Chicago area, and I believe I had his Twitter up here a second ago, but I took it down. I was looking at something else. A lot of comments. 300, nice. Almost 350 watching, folks. This was you saw this. This was breaking. You saw this live right here on Bernie 2016 TV. We are the media. Today it was Ryan Smith, one of the 99, bringing you that live Bernie coverage, and the sound was great. The Periscope was great. Hangouts are awesome. We can do as long as we can get a Wi-Fi connection or a good data connection. We can bring it to you, and this is what happened today, guys. That was awesome. And Richard, what do you think? Good speech, huh? Bernie needs a little honey and water, hot water and lemon, I think.
Yes, absolutely. You can tell that all the West Coast swing and everything else is taking a toll on his vocal cords, and hopefully he gets a little time to rest before South Carolina. I know it's going to be a loud and raucous crowd there. So
I know. Well, he's going to be in Reno tomorrow, and then he's going to have a little downtime. He can get some rest for South Carolina. We want to make sure and I know, guys, he hits the same points. So that's one of the things we're talking about, is that he does hit the same points. And so, do we really want to see it again? Well, he has his stump speech is changing, and I think that's the issue with the other candidates. Their stump speech don't change. I mean, those guys on the soapbox and with the Republicans out there in Iowa, they were getting heckled, and they just stuck to the same stuff. They stick to the same speech on the teleprompter. And Bernie's speech he has a plan, and he hits his plan, but he adjusts his delivery and to his crowd. I think he's a great bad word, politician, but he's a man of the people, and he connects. He's a statesman, and he speaks the truth. And boy, that crowd seemed like Chicago seems to be burning. I mean, that's pretty. They are on board every one of his issues. We were talking about in live production that you couldn't hear Bernie because the crowd just would not stop cheering and applauding, right, Rich?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and on the changing versus static, I think what makes Bernie really effective is it's not when he does alter his speech. It's not pandering. It's not in a way that I love corn because I'm in the corn country. And
right. Yeah. No, yeah, it's not. Yeah, he doesn't adapt it to his. Yeah, I don't want to seem that. Yeah, he is pandering. Yeah, I agree with you totally. But he's taking in the issues that he hears from the constituency, and then he is, saying, oh, okay, well, we need to address these issues. And if he did come up with that social justice platform quickly after the Netroots, first movement against disruption, and he started. It's still that was pretty comprehensive, and D-Ray is going to be. I think that's. I was told how to pronounce it. I don't know if I got that correct. Is that right, Rich? Am I pronouncing his name right?
Yes, that is correct. And just to build on that a little bit, some of the things that Bernie has kind of slightly changed in his speech and brought more attention to, like some of the things that I heard were that nobody will fight harder to end institutional racism in this country. That's a big part. A lot of people get scared off just by saying the word institutional racism or systemic racism because people like to think that it's something that we got a black president, that's over, we're done with that, we're through, we can move on. And it's like, no, there's still a lot of things that people aren't actively thinking racist thoughts or anything like that, but the system has been designed in such a way that it just allows it to seethe under the surface. And just another one that caught my attention was nobody was going to work harder to reform our broken criminal justice system. And what else? Chicago being ready for community policing is a big part, like seeing the police as part of the community, not as oppressors or as a threat. And I'm just going to run through a few more that if a police officer breaks the law, that officer must be held accountable. That's huge. That's
it. That's the number one thing. And now they get a paid vacation.
Yeah, they get put on administrative leave or just a paid vacation, and that's not acceptable. And that's not just at any individual level. That rakes across prosecutors and across the whole system. And Bernie really wanting to take a hard look at that and see what we can do to change and improve that is a really big issue for a lot of constituencies. And another big one that I heard tonight was that he plans to introduce new legislation to keep private prisons from making money off of incarcerating people. That's huge, and particularly the idea of introducing legislation, because that's a hard, concrete thing. That's not just a talking point or just a bullet point. It's a real thing that people can get behind and support. So that would definitely be something I would ask fellow liberals and progressives and such to help Bernie with, and to help bring that to the attention of other progressives that want to make a change, and to show that we're supporting the issues that matter to groups like Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. Also, just too many lives have been destroyed for people who have not committed violent crimes. When he was talking about the war on drugs, that we really need to look at how it's used and why it's used and what it means in real people's lives. Because people are, like Obama recently commuted some sentences for some nonviolent drug offenders, and can't be overstated how devastating to not just an individual's life, but to their family and their friends and the people around them, having their life taken, their freedom taken away from them for sometimes just trying to help make ends meet and to just do what they can to survive. And so having Bernie say stuff about that it really strikes a chord with me. And also, as on the jails, is we have to find a way to reintegrate the people that are coming out of those jails into a civil society, where you don't get a 5-year sentence and then you might as well just write off the rest of your life, because you won't be able to find a job, you won't be able to find housing, you won't be able to find the things you need to be a productive citizen.
Yeah, no, you're out of the system of any possible productivity. So yeah, I think you're right on. I think he's got a plan. What was coming across also, where was Simone tonight? Simone did not, but Chewy was there. Chewy was great. Chewy, we were talking about that a little earlier in the chat, that part of what's going on with the high school is that Rahm Emanuel was elected mayor, and as opposed to Chewy. And it was a very close race, and that's basically Diet. Yeah, which is their local, and they're dealing with some local issues. Before we get into that, we have an interview lined up. We're getting a hold of somebody on the ground to talk to who's involved with that in what's going on, the hunger strike that's happening about the funding of a public school as opposed to money going to a private schools, and they're taking a real stand too. This is desperate times, desperate measures for desperate times. Hunger strikes, taking over Bernie Sanders events. So yeah, we're gonna go to that interview if we can give him a call. And the name it flew through. Here we go. Bob George, his name is. He's a member of the Coalition to Revitalize Diet High School. So stick with us for that. And if you're interested, if you know people interested in that topic and what's going on right now. This is happening right now. There's a deadline for a bill or something going through legislature, and it's been shelved, or they've taken it off the calendar. So this is a critical issue, and this school is taking a stand, as many people are, as we are in this political revolution. And I just want to thank, before we lose any more viewers, we had a great amount of viewers today. We had the only stream going of the live event at this private fundraiser of 2,000 people. It was $50 to $1,000 a ticket, and so you got you got an inside of the Bernie campaign trying to raise some money from people wanting influence, wanting influence.
Just handed out a few free 100 tickets to get a chance to view what other people would have to pay $50 for. So. If you can donate to the campaign, go ahead and send some money that way and thank them in whatever other way you can.
Yep, absolutely. So we're gonna work on that interview. Just what I saw a different speech. I heard many of the same principles, but I definitely saw a different speech. I'm glad he's gonna have a break and have some downtime. And let us know what you think in the comments. Stick around. We're getting an interview here with some of the folks dealing with this this money issue for public schools. I don't understand why we can't get on board educating.
Dave, we can
Janine,
actually.
is that you?
Yeah, it is. We can actually give Bob a call right now. So if everyone can just stay with us, we'll have him on in just a second.
Wait, are we on this is old school? Or are we actually going to do a phone in?
We are.
Awesome! Wow, I didn't know we had that technology.
Yeah. So if everyone could just hold on, we're going to ring him and then we're going to bring him back.
So Richard, let's go recap what's going on at this high school. I think
I was just going to say, so just a quick thing on what's going on at Diet is Rahm Emanuel is he's been trying to close down a lot of the public schools, and we're just going to need a quick little break, I believe, in order to get them on the phone tech-wise. So if we can just get everybody to stick with us through the break, we'll have Bob George on the line with us to help give us some more details.
Give us some more clarity. This is something that just started coming across today. This is it's a critical time apparently for this action, and the the 26th is a deadline for apparently there's some money that could possibly go to a couple of private schools for, I'm not saying they're bad programs for in sports and in art, but our public schools really need some help, and especially in some of the neighborhoods in Chicago and other metropolitan areas that are just being, Wisconsin. I mean, I think Walker just did some devastating stuff up there. And
Dave,
yes,
we're actually ready to make that call. So if you could just give us a minute, we're going to put up the "We'll be right back," and we're going to call.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're going to just jump off. We need to jump. I didn't realize that. We need to jump off for a second. Hang with us. We'll be right back with Bob. All right. Hey guys, we're back live with you. Thanks for sticking with us. We do have that technology of the phone, but we just had to do a little workaround to get it to you. And we do now have Bob George on the line, calling from the Chicago area. Bob, is that correct? Is Dyett High School? It's in the Chicago area.
Yes, Walter H. Dyett High School is in the historic Brownsville neighborhood of Chicago. It is an area that has been and continues to be one of the centers of black culture in the city.
And there's a bit of a deadline happening in the legislature, and there's some critical funds involved, and there's a passion for making sure that those funds go in a direction that are leading us forward, as opposed to just keeping us where we are. So tell us a little about your issue and what exactly, why is there a hunger strike at Dyett High School?
Well, there's a hunger strike at Dyett High School because for the last 6-7 years, the city has, and the school board has acted disingenuously and to destabilize Dyett High School. In 2008, Dyett High School was recognized for its 30% increase in the graduation rate of its students by Arnie Duncan and Mayor Daley. In 2009, it was recognized for a 40% decrease in the out-of-school suspensions because of a very active community program that changed the way the students viewed the school, and violence was reduced. 2 years after that, the city announced that it was going to phase out Dyett High School. And from that moment on, the community has fought to keep it. Recently, about 7-8 months ago, after a civil disobedience action in which 11 of us chained ourselves to the statue of George Washington outside of the mayor's office, the school district changed its mind and said that Dyett could stay open, and then said, parenthetically, well, but everybody's going to have to, there's going to have to be a bid, and people are going to have to reply to. So the Dyett community responded and turned in a proposal, the only proposal that was turned in that is sound academically, that was supported by the community. There are 2 other proposals, one of which is a proposal from a group that is political favorites of the mayor's. And we're afraid because recently a public hearing that was supposed to be held was canceled. The alderman for this ward is not supporting the Dyett Global Leadership in Green Technology proposal that was done by the community with a coalition of 14 different groups, including major contributions from education departments at the University of Illinois, Chicago. The alderman has said he will not approve the Dyett Global Leadership in Green Technology program, apparently because he doesn't like one of the groups in the coalition. Well, that group, the Kenwood Oakland Community Organization, has struggled with the alderman because the alderman has not really done things in the best interest of the community. So the hunger strike is now because we're afraid that the kind of politics which is you award to your buddies and your friends the spoils of your political victory will happen, and the school that is an alternative high school right now, which is a private company, will become the pick of this RFP process, even though their proposal is not supported by the community and is not academically sound. But more importantly, this alternative high school has a 5% graduation rate. So a school that is not working now.
Compared to how much? What's Dyett?
Well, Dyett High School is not. Dyett High School has been phased out. There were only 13 students in high school this year.
Oh, I see.
So you can't compare it to that, but you can compare it to the level 1 school that the people that designed Diet High Schools, Diet Global Leadership and Green Technology,
same system, yeah.
They have a level 1 high school that they designed that is currently operating in Chicago highly successfully. So, and the coalition isn't trying to run the school. We want the Chicago Public Schools to run it. We believe that there should be a neighborhood, open enrollment, community-involved school for the students of this community. Right now, with that officially closed, there is not a school that the students in this community can go to. And one of our parents who's on strike, her daughter is next year, a year from now, is going to have to go to high school, and her mother's checked it out. She'll have to go 16 miles, 2 buses and a train to go to high school.
Wow.
And so she's literally putting her life in danger by going on a hunger strike. She's not eating. This is her first day because she does not want her daughter's life to be lost. And this is what we're speaking about when we talk about Black Lives Matter. These Black lives are not mattering to this city, and unless they do, these people are going to stay on strike.
Well,
Global Leadership and Green Technology High School needs to be a reality.
It just seems like in every level of government or the institution of government, this is occurring, and that Black lives don't seem to matter, and it's actions like this with being politicians being controlled by a handful of special interests. I know it was a very close race with Chewy and Emmanuel and Ram, and they were saying earlier in the chat that really this is what you get when you have someone whose interests are privatizing the system, and which is is he that of a conservative of a mayor? I mean, he's a Democrat, is he not? He's a Democrat.
Yes, but there are Democrats and there are Democrats, and right now, it's probably more importantly than him being a Democrat is a commitment to a portfolio school district, which means that literally you have only a small portion of your schools left that are public schools. The one that is most well known is New Orleans, which has no public schools left, all charter and contract schools.
New Orleans has no public schools left.
No.
Wow. And four monuments to the Confederacy will remain, just so we all are clear.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. Go ahead.
Walter H. Diet taught here in Chicago for 30 years, and he taught arts and music. And some of the students that he had is Nat King Cole, Dinah Washington, Red Fox, and Bo Diddley. Those are just some. His legacy is one that needs to stay. When the mayor and the school board, which is unelected, and this is another major issue, if you have an unelected school board, you basically have taxation without representation. Okay? Sure. The mayor appoints everybody.
Oh, really? Wow.
And this unelected school board closed 50 schools. 46 of those schools were majority black. And those schools no longer exist. And we have a grandmother who's on strike who had 9 grandchildren, and one of those schools, it has devastated that community. It has caused it to be a education desert, okay? And her children had to go to now an overcrowded school. That was a well-performing school, granted. But they had 45 children in the kindergarten class to start out. They had to eat their food in the gym because they had to use the cafeteria for classroom space. This isn't right. That wouldn't happen in the white community. When the white community in Lincoln Park said they didn't want to have a Noble Charter School, it took 2 months, and the Noble Charter School didn't exist. Okay, they never authorized it. We have been struggling for 4 years, extremely actively to keep this open enrollment, high-quality school in the community.
Well, we're gonna keep trail, keep post on this story. We're gonna keep up on this sport, watch this space, as they say. We're gonna stay on to Bob. We appreciate you talking to us today, Bob George. What is it? What organization are you with, sir?
I'm part of the coalition to revitalize Diet High School and the Kenwood Oakland Community Organization. I'd like to give you 3 hashtags.
Yes,
Fight
please.
for Diet. And so hashtag Fight for Diet. DYETT is how you spell diet.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag Diet, GLGT, which stands for Global Leadership Green Technology. And hashtag We Are Diet. All news about the hunger strike and the other work that's being done will be on those hashtags day in, day out.
Very good. Well, we will.
And those that want to contact the leadership for this, it's the campaign to save diet is 773-548-7500.
Desperate measures for desperate times, my friend.
Precisely. That's exactly what was said by the mother, that her daughter may have to go 16 miles to go to school. She's not going to stand for it. She said today those exact words.
Wow. All right. Bob, I thank you. I thank you for joining us on Bernie 2016 TV. This is the kind of stuff we need to hear about, and we'll see if the mainstream media picks up on this story.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Dave.
Please. Yes, Janine.
I was going to say, this is Richard.
Richard, please, yes.
I just wanted to ask, were you able to listen to Bernie's speech tonight?
Yes, I was in the entire speech.
All right, excellent. Did anything stick out to you, or anything that you particularly caught your attention?
Well, I first, Bernie has been in my mind since 1988, because I started working for his campaign in '88 when he ran for House of Representatives. I heard what I know, what Bernie is and who he is, and I love the man. I think he's tremendously gifted in bringing the reality of what this, and his speech did that. I was a bit troubled because the speech only spoke for about 4 to 4.5 minutes of any issues that directly reflect Black lives. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I am not black. I am white. But I'm troubled by that simply because Bernie said something that I thought was very important. He said that, people will be able to go to college, and they'll be able to go to college free. And if you're in the 4th or 5th grade and you have no models, no anything that would allow you to see that vision, the fact that if you know and you're told and you can believe it, that you'll be able to go to college if you do well in school and you study and apply yourself, many, many students will be able to make it. And I totally agree with that statement. But I also know another statistic that Bernie said is 51% of the 17 to 20-year-old black youth are unemployed. How much chance does a 4th or 5th grade black child now have to live to be in college, and to live to be in college without first being incarcerated? Okay, that's the reality. And I think that the people of this country need to take a good look at why a black child who had a toy gun was shot within 2 seconds of a policeman leaving his car. That's Tamir Rice. How can that be? How can that black life be that unimportant? And what this city has done to black children is told them that their lives do not matter, the way they've dealt with their schools and their community. And these schools, in black schools, there is not the resources. Diet High School, as it was phased out, had no AP courses, had gym and art online. Okay, this needs to be addressed. And so while I love Bernie's speech and I am a total supporter of him, at the same time, I'd love to talk to Bernie one-on-one and tell him what I see, or invite him to come over to where we are.
Well,
Yeah,
I bet he would do that, Bob. He's seems very open to talking to people about the issues that are concerning him. So.
I need to find a way to get to talk to him. You have any suggestions?
Well, I think we've got a bunch of volunteers on this network that are going to help you out in that respect. I think Pat Spray is on this, and he's a pretty good guy to have in your corner. And we're gonna keep a watch on this story, and we're gonna try to get you with the Sanders campaign, and get Bernie to talk to you, because this is critical. We have some. And
I'd like it to be not to talk to me, but to talk to the 11 people that are doing the hunger strike.
Yes, for sure. I mean, we basically are just we're liaisons to try to get this message and the voices of these folks that are in crisis in so many communities.
It certainly won't be the last time we talk about it, and I imagine we'll be reaching out to you in the future, and maybe you can help us connect with those 11 people on the strike, and we'll get them and their message out, because I am black and have been my whole life, and so this stuff does matter to me, and so I want to do what I can for sure. So I'll be.
Okay, what's your name?
My name's Richard Green.
Richard, I'm pleased to meet you, and I look forward to talking with you. The person that's leading this up is Mr. G2 Brown. He's the national director of Journey for Justice.
All right.
Well, we've got folks getting all this down, and we're gonna put it up on the channel information for this event, this stream today. Bob, thank you so much for joining us with us, and we hope to talk to you again, as this is a crisis, and this is something that we need to talk about like right now. So we hope to talk to you again. We're going to do what we can to move this issue forward and get the Sanders campaign interested, and I'm sure they will be. Okay. And I just thank you again for what you're doing. And we have to wrap things up here, guys. Richard, thank you for being with us all day. Folks, thanks for watching. We had the only stream that I know of, that we know of this live event, this private event in Chicago, Fundraiser. And we hope to bring you as many live events as we possibly can. So, Richard, closing thoughts about today?
I totally agree with what Bob was saying, and I look forward to Bernie making it even a bigger issue, and everyone getting on board and recognizing that there are these local struggles going on that don't necessarily get the press attention that some of the other ones that make for better national television get press on. So I look forward to working with Bob and with anybody in any other areas that has similar issues arising in their neighborhoods. And I hope the best for Bronzeville and the students of Bronzeville.
Excellent, Richard. Bob, is that you?
I was still on, yeah. I was listening.
Final thoughts?
No, just
Very good.
I look forward to working with you all and with the Sanders campaign.
Indeed.
I expect Bernie to be elected president.
Yep, that's it. Yep. That's part of the struggle. So thank you all for watching. Join us on Bernie 2016 TV and the Google Plus if you want to volunteer. We really are looking for reporters for South Carolina and any event that's coming up for Bernie Sanders. And if you want to have your own show, if you want to be a part of this network, Bernie 2016 TV and Network for the 99, please find us on Google Plus and get involved. You can follow me on Feel the Bern TV on Twitter and on Facebook. And there's a lot of great things happening for the campaign. The momentum is really moving forward after Iowa, and now it was an amazing event in Chicago, and we're gonna see how South Carolina, how that pans out. 3 events in South Carolina. So join us for sure over the weekend. Stay tuned. Follow us. We love you guys. Janine, John, Rich, South Dog, thank you all for joining in and being a part of this network and helping us all out. All volunteers here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Nigel, one of our hosts, is watching. We had folks in Switzerland watching. Cynical Girl, repeat viewer, thanks for watching. Your comments were great. Stick with us next time. Here we're going to go out with Americans, and I will change the graphic at some point. But
are these things archived?
They are. They are, absolutely. They'll be archived almost immediately, and pass them on, and this will be a great way, I think, to help get the issue out. I'm certainly going to be tweeting this link as soon as I get it up. So absolutely, Bob, please pass it on, and we hope to have a lot of people watching this video. It's very important.
Okay.
It's crucial stuff we talked about today, not just Bernie Sanders with a great event. So thanks, everybody, for watching. Peace, love, and Bernie Sanders, Americans.
Denver.
Thanks, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the next President of the United States, Bernie Sanders!
Let's join together as Americans. Let's work together as Americans.
Police
officers. Let's together. Let's stand together as Americans.
So I look forward to working with you all in creating the political revolution that this country needs. Thank you all.
Let's lighten up on politics, the cheap shots and the dirty tricks, and let's join together as Americans. The left, the right, the middle too have got their faults like me and you, but let's work together as Americans. There are but few other places, whether far or near, where we can do and say and think the things we do right here. So let's agree to disagree like thinking people do, and let's stand together as Americans. For some of us who criticize the way our leaders lead, we feel that keeps us stronger as Americans. To not express opinions would be far the worse indeed, 'cause seeking justice is a duty of Americans. We are a land of individuals, and in the things we do, we must respect each other's right to voice their own point of view. So let's accept our differences as that which keeps us great, and thank our lucky stars that we're Americans.
This campaign is not about me. It's not about Hillary Clinton. It's not about Jeb Bush. It's not about any other candidate. This campaign is about you, your kids, and your parents.
There are those out there who want to break our spirit and our drive, but they don't stand a chance 'cause we're Americans. We fought a lot of bitter fights to keep our liberty alive, and we'll keep on fighting as Americans. We've got the best of the best here in the USA, but if we take it all for granted, it might slip away. So no matter where we come from and no matter what our name, let's show the world that we're united as Americans.
Let's join together as Americans. Let's work together as Americans. Let's hold together. Let's stand together as Americans.
A political movement of millions of people who stand up and loudly and proudly proclaim that this nation and our government belong to all of us and not just a handful of billionaires.